Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing Mono White Initiative with tons of hate bear creatures built in to help us get over the finish line. Almost all of our creatures have some disruptive element to them. Let's talk about them. First, we got the King of Disruption, Clarion Conqueror. We've got Anointed Peacekeeper to lock down some of the things our opponent wants to do. We have Archon of Emeria, one of the most annoying cards ever printed. And we have Elite Spellbinder, which exiles cards from our opponent's hand and makes them cost more. We also have Boromir, which forbids 0 mana spells and can also beat face with its 3/3 Vigilance Body. Backing all of this up, we have Chalice of the Void, which is very strong. We Chalice for 0 against Storm type decks or decks that are playing a bunch of 0 drops, 8 cast Painter, or we Chalice for 1 against Blue-Black Reanimator and other decks that need 1 drops to be able to win the game usually. And I'm hopeful that our flexible removal in Solitude, which can also be blinked by another removal spell, Touch the Spirit Realm. So we could potentially Solitude 2 things for 2 mana. This is a really strong interaction here. And then, of course, we have Timeless Dragon to search. And we have Witch Enchanter, which is part of our mana base, which, let's talk about our mana base. So it's just a bunch of planes. I believe in having access to basics. You do not want to lose the Blood Moon when you're playing a monocolor deck. It's humiliating, and it's completely avoidable. You can put like all the fancy tech lands in your deck, or you can just have good mana, and that's what we're doing. We are playing Ancient Tomb, we're playing City of Traitors, and these should be able to ramp out a turn 1 Chalice and then a turn 2 Hate Bear. Our deck is extremely simple and extremely linear. Disrupt and beat down. Sideboard, if we don't need Chalice for some reason, we can, or if we're going to be Chalicing for 0, we can bring in Plow, the best removal spell ever printed. We also have 4 Disruptor Flutes. If we know what our opponent's on, this is a very good way of slowing them down. And then we have 4 Leyline of the Void, 4 Oops All spells. This is probably also worth bringing in against Reanimator because they do use like Murktide and things like that. It can disrupt this. The beauty of Clarion Conqueror is it does shut down Tamio games. It shuts down Painter games. It shuts down so many things. This card is just absolutely correct. And I'm hopeful that even against fair decks, we're going to have so much inevitability and being able to bring back Timeless Dragon and things like that, that we are just going to be able to take them out. Yes, we do not have any Moxes in here. We do not have any Lotus Petals because of Clarion Conqueror, and because I'd rather just go slow and steady and put incredible threats on the table every single turn than just have an explosive turn 1 and just sit there drawing a bunch of Moxes we can't cast and stuff like this. We should be able to cast 1 spell every turn, and it should be impactful. That's my goal for this. I will see you in round 1. Round 1, we're on the draw against lands, most likely. But our opponent has also played some cards like Necrodominus combo and things like that. If we're up against lands, this does just curve into good disruptive stuff. Spellbinder, I mean, the problem is we don't have a path. Yeah, I think this hand is not that great. I'd like to get Clarion Conqueror for sure, and ideally a Tomb. Let's mull. This is the hand. My goodness, this is so much better. So I think I'm going to put back this City of Traitors, and then what we can do is just turn 1, Timeless Dragon cycle, go get another Plains. Turn 2, Clarion Conqueror. Okay, they have Leyline of the Void main deck. Urza Saga, all right. So unfortunately, Clarion Conqueror does not shut down Urza Saga. Okay, so options. I think we just go ahead and... Timeless Dragon for a land, it's not the end of the world. They're not going to have Wasteland in their Urza Saga deck, I don't think, so I think we're fine just playing it out and going and getting a... we can deal with both of the constructs here, potentially. I just want another land. What will we even use that land for? We have all the land we need. We don't have to tap this. I don't think I'm going to be hard casting this, but would this be better as a creature that we can hard cast? Because we're not going to be able to get it back because Leyline. I'm definitely jamming Clarion Conqueror next turn because that shuts off Helm if that's what they're going for. They could have like some sort of like snuff out or something like that though. I think I'm just going to be mana efficient here, or we could just play this Plains and just chill and surprise them. And then we still have Timeless Dragon as our top end. I don't think they're going to disrupt our mana, so I am going to go ahead and just Plains pass. I know that may seem like a really mediocre play, like not very exciting, but hear me out. Swamp. Okay. So they're not going to be able to do anything here. But if they had Dark Ritual, thing, they would have used it. But if they're playing this, they're definitely playing Helm. So we want to stop that. Okay, another Clarion Conqueror is good. I'm just going to play the first one. Right? Okay, so opponent is going to be using the Urza Saga trigger to search. They may have like some sort of assassination spell bomb or something like that. I can't remember what those are called, but they can't use it to kill Clarion. So whatever they get here is not going to be usable unless it's just like a static ability. I might actually just stick a second Clarion Conqueror here. Yeah, Pithing Needle, fine. That stops literally nothing in my deck. But I guess it's the only option they have. Wasteland, sure. Okay, Vault of Whispers doesn't tap. Love it. I'm going to definitely stick a second Clarion Conqueror. I'm just going to beat them down. I think they were hoping to find like an ancient tomb there and they whiffed. Okay, now I'm really glad I didn't use the Timeless Dragon. I'm just going to go ahead and play another one while we have it up. Clarion Conqueror. Yeah, and it's possible that maybe I should have played the Spellbinder, but yeah, I mean, they have 1 mana. They're facing 6 power in the air. I don't think they're long for this world. Dark Ritual would be something that could do something here, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they play it. Anointed Peacekeeper is pretty brutal. I could just go ahead and search with Timeless Dragon to get into the land so we can get to double spelling soon. I think that is correct. I don't think this body's going to matter. Okay, they're doing something here. Opposition Agent. Does this matter? Do I care? I don't think I do. You can go get a Plains. I mean, it does give him a Plains. I could touch it, but is that really even worth the effort? I think we just let them look at our deck. I mean, I could just blink it out of existence for a turn. Then I get my land. And then I have more mana up. But that does use touch when I could use it for other things. And I could just hold it up here. I think I'm going to let them do it. I don't care. They'll get an extra land, but they're facing a lot of damage here. And we have the touches up. So we'll come in for 6 in the air. It might make sense to go ahead and touch one of these. If they like have some sort of way to remove these, it's disastrous for us. Yeah, they just scoop. Okay. All right. So against their deck, I don't think we bring in ley lines. Does Chalice do anything here? Let's ask. So they might be playing Chalice themselves. We didn't see any 1-drops other than Pithing Needle. I wouldn't be surprised if they had some Chalice type things in there. They are going to necessarily be lower on cards because they're trying to actively mull to a Leyline of the Void. Douthie is a pain for sure. That's almost certainly in their deck, and that can attack through our blockers, but we can, we have lots of things to exile it. I don't think Trinisphere is where we want to be here. It does make Dark Ritual comical, though. So really the only thing I'm thinking is we could take out the Chalices, we could bring in the Plows. I think that's probably okay. This isn't the type of, Chalices are there to stop Reanimator and Delver and stuff like that. I mean, they're clearly trying to win through creatures and or that other thing. Okay, so this is a Plow hand. It does have 3 mana sources. Is this powerful enough? They mulled a 6. They're looking for the quick kill. Considering how disruptive the dragon was, I really would like to have a burst of mana. Let's mull this. Are we being greedy? Okay, now we have the burst of mana. We don't have the white source, though. Ouch. This shouldn't happen very much statistically. I'm not going to keep this. Okay, there's the Clarion Conqueror, but we don't have the burst of mana. I think we mulligan one more time. They're mulling deep. Trying to combo us, I think. Because they probably realize, looking at our deck, how the heck am I ever going to beat this deck as a fair deck? You're not, generally. And by the way, we cast 1 spell a turn and we're fine with that. So it's totally fine to mull down to 4 cards and then just have a few key plays. Archon is so disruptive. It's possible we can win with it. Spellbinder is really there to fill up space. I don't think it's that great of a card. Let's mull one more time. Okay, this is the hand. So I'm going to keep the Plow and one of the Plains. So we'll put back Plains. I think Anointed Peacekeeper is actually the card over Solitude here. Plains. Solitude goes back. I think we keep Archon. It is very disruptive. Well, they have basics, don't they? We didn't see them fetch, did they? I think this may not be disruptive enough. So I'll keep the Peacekeeper. They may open with like a Thoughtseize. Oh, they don't. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we got an Archon anyway. That's great. I'm just going to play this out and I'll pass. And we will plan to plow and Peacekeeper. Okay, so they're probably going to take our Peacekeeper. It's worth noting that they don't have Leyline out, so that shuts off like some of the things they can do here. They took our Archon. Okay. Well, they have artifact lands in their deck. I'm going to go for this. I just don't want to risk them doing something powerful next turn. I mean, I could Peacekeeper first, and that might beat their removal. That does get us a look at their hand. Yeah, I'm going to do this, and then if they can kill us... Okay, they can kill us. That's brutal. So, if they Dark Ritual, Beseech the Mirror, they can go get Chalice. It's really like a two-turn line. I think I just named Dark Rit. Yeah, I'll just name Dark Rit. So I hope these remain revealed here. Dark Ritual. We could name Beseech, and then maybe they don't have anything to sack to it. If we name Helm, I don't want to name Helm because Helm gets locked by Clarion Conqueror. I mean, how are they ever going to Beseech with the mana they have without Dark Ritual? I think we named Dark Ritual. I think they'll just have to sit there for a turn, and then we get our Conqueror out. Wow, this is an exciting first match. It's like Stompy versus Stompy. They can still pay 3 mana if they want to cast Dark Ritual, but it's so like pay 3 mana, filter into triple black. All right, so now we have an option. We can play this again, and we can. I think this is fine. I'm gonna spin that, roll the dice here. Okay, they have another Dark Ritual. So they could Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual. I mean, it's gonna be mana neutral. I think we just named Beseech here. So, yeah. But it's important to note that we're basically dead if they draw removal for this one. Well, they not necessarily, because they don't necessarily have the mana to cast everything. I'll feel a lot better once we stick the Clarion Conqueror for sure. They just scoop. Okay, that was pretty fast. See you in round 2. Our round 2, we're 1-0 with our mono white Stompy deck. This hand looks pretty insane. We can open Chalice. That screwed up a lot of decks. And then assuming they don't waste us, which usually they're not going to waste us, we can Clarion Conqueror, and then we can start rebuilding our mana. I'm going to keep this. I think a lot of people instinctively go for the mono black hate decks, but mono white's pretty strong. Like our opponent the other previous round, I think those are good too, but I'd rather not play a bunch of janky Dark Rituals and, artifact lands and stuff. I'd rather be able to just curve out. Okay, so let's go ahead and open Chalice and hope this disrupts their plans. We have no idea what our opponent's on, but most decks do care about Chalice on 1. They force shear, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, they don't. Okay. Another City of Traitors is nice. So I'm going to float, play this out. City dies. Opponent is leaving us hanging for a very long period of time here. And in honor of casting this card, I'm going to quote my favorite Megadeth lyrics of all time. Kill a man, you're a murderer. Kill a million, you're a conqueror. Kill them all, you're a god. See if they have a days for this. Theater. Some mono black reanimator action maybe. Guys, well, they're on Storm. Holy cow, this is going to screw them up. All right. I think we've completely devastated them. Like their bounce spell that they play is a 1 mana spell. We'll see what they can do here. Burning Wish. Would you like to gift a fish when your card is getting countered? I'm sure they have something to deal with this. I can't remember what it is. Suplex. Okay. Suplex. What is that? Oh, the train suplex. Holy cow, that's so cool. Choose one. Suplex deals 3 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead or exile target artifact. Wow, what a good general purpose card for this particular situation. Options. 1, we could just touch the Spirit Realm when they attempt to do that. And can this do that for artifacts too? We can even do this for the artifact. So we'll dodge their ability, basically. The suplex is not going to work on us. I don't want to play out the City of Traitors yet. I'm just going to come in for a hug, and I will uncounterably touch the Spirit Realm on whatever they target here. This is so cool. I love this card. And I was tempted to play Shelter Dweller Ghost. That's what everybody else is playing. But like this, my whole thing was I don't want to play 2-drops. I want everything to be like a 3-drop, basically, because we're going to reliably be able to get up to 3 mana. Just look at that guy running toward that train. He is ready to suplex the heck out of that train. I don't know how one does that. The time has come to put my training to use. You're going to be suplexing a ghost, friend. Let's see this. It's possible they can combo out when this is out of play, though. But they're not going to have a lot of mana to work with. Okay, they are going for the Conqueror, and we are going to just temporarily remove this. So you have a narrow window in which you can win. Next time I will probably be chalicing for 0, because that locks out a lot of their stuff. Can you win right now? Pedal. By the way, like, dodging Gaia's Will, the worst draw in the deck, pretty strong. If we can beat Storm with a mono white deck, that is a serious endorsement of this deck. And by the way, we have three Trinispheres in the sideboard. It's Trinisphere, so you have to have 3 of them. This is the simplest sideboard I've ever built, by the way. It's like literally 4 different cards, 4, 4, 4, 3. We can just take out a ton of creatures and bring in a lot of interaction. Let's take a look at it. I'm already kind of planning my sideboard as my opponent does some math over there. So we'll just... I don't think we bring in a Leyline. So I think we just bring in these 7 and we pull out like creature-based stuff. Okay, so they've got 2 mana. Oh, they can win now. Oh no! They can't gamble though. They have to have it in hand. Yeah, sure, that's countered. But they're building up Storm. Okay, they scoop. All right. Okay. And I have nothing against Storm, but I do not mind watching the Fair deck destroy the combo deck. That is good magic for me. Basically, I'm always on the side of Fair decks. So this Boromir doesn't do anything. Well, it stops free spells. Archon, it's not nearly as good as these other cards, though. Let's talk about, like, Seasoned Dungeoneer is definitely coming out. That is not relevant. Oh, Solitude is even less relevant. I mean, Leyline of the Void, it may be better than those cards. It sucks. It's a terrible card, but, like, is it better? I mean, let's think about it. It shuts off their graveyard lines. Yeah, I think it's probably actually worth playing. Because we do have, like, dead cards. Like, I mean, Timeless Dragon, really? Are we gonna care about this? Witch Enchanter has text. I mean, all these other cards have text is the thing. It's just not like particularly compelling text. I know a Peacekeeper. Timeless Dragon is kind of part of our mana base, but do we even care? I'll cut those out. Yeah, again, like it feels pretty stinky to bring this in. My opponent has disconnected. Okay, you better come back after making me wait that long. I want my victory. I don't want to wait 10 minutes and then queue into the next one. I've got business meetings today. All right, my opponent is back. They're on the play. This hand sucks. We're definitely throwing this back. We're looking for Chalice on 0, Leyline. Basically stuff that matters should we get a turn. And I don't expect to get a turn. There we go. This is freaking nutty. Let's put back Boromir. That way we can step up. Yeah, Boromir is the weakest of these cards. I mean, Chalice does the same thing, so put him back. Witch Enchanter just incidentally blowing up their stuff is really cool. I mean, this is by far the best white multi-face card. I'm hopeful that Leyline does disrupt them enough for us to get a turn so that we can Chalice. And then Trinisphere is the stretch goal, but Trinisphere should be the KO punch. They'll need to have like some sort of Shatterstorm type effect. I think, considering that they're able to do all this stuff, oh, that's nice. This is I do feel like we got a good deal here. I definitely want to Chalice for 1 here. I don't want to Chalice for 0 if they're already going to have all this stuff out. Wow, they just played all that stuff out, but they can't do anything because of Leyline. So Leyline did its job. I think we just pass and we plan to Chalice on 1. I just don't think Chalice on 0 is going to be impactful at this point. All right, we're going to get a few turns of garbage time. Here we go. Timeless Dragon. Something we can do later, but right now we got to do this. This shuts off Gamble, which they've already binned. It shuts off, like, I don't know, Rite of Flame. I don't know what they're playing. Dark Ritual. I presume it's in the deck. We still haven't presented the win con, but we're about to. Yeah, let's just blow up their LED, or maybe we blow up the Mox, and then we get on the board at the same time. That feels good. Your Trinisphere is definitely an option here, but if we go for LED, yeah, they just scooped. I think we go for LED. All right, these have been some quick ones. See you in round 3. We're 2-0. Okay, round 3. We're 2-0. We're likely up against depths, like black, green, white depths, absent depths. I don't think the Spellbinders are going to set the world on fire. I don't think a turn 4 Seasoned Engineer is going to do great either. We're on the draw, which sucks. But like they have a ton of Wastelands. So what we would do with this hand is we go Plains, and then we go like turn 2 and own a Peacekeeper, which could lock off some of their activated abilities. But the main thing is, like, I don't expect them to not have mana. They have tons of mana. They even have Mox Diamonds and stuff. So I do want to get very badly. I think the way we win this is with Clarion Conqueror. So let's mull. Clarion Conqueror and Archon. So I definitely think Boromir goes back. They do have 0 drops, but this card is really there to fill space. It's like one of the weaker cards. Just like they'll eventually print really good white creatures. White creatures get better and better every year. The hate bears get better and better every year. Like Clarion Conqueror, we got this year. Last year we got Witch Enchanter. A few years back we got Archon. It's just a matter of time. Okay. Oh, so they're playing this. Who knows what they're playing? But this might be Depths. I can confirm that their old Depths list did not have basic Swamp in it. So who knows what they're playing? They didn't take our Conqueror. We drew another Boromir. I think the simple thing to do is just go ahead and... I mean, we could go ahead and Traitors into Timeless Dragon. If they waste, that's a real bummer. Well, no, it's not that big of a bummer because we do have Clarion Conqueror next turn anyway. But I think it's fine to just... I mean, how many times do we want to use this burst of mana is a real question. Because getting Timeless Dragon... no, I think I'm just going to play it slow. I don't think getting Timeless Dragon in the yard, like especially if they have Reanimate, we could die to our own Timeless Dragon. That'd be embarrassing. Okay, so they're on Hogaak, it looks like. Is that dangerous? Well, we have the 4 ley lines. That's good. Okay, Stitcher Supplier in the yard. If they have like a Therapy, that's devastating here. They may have a Hogaak from hand. We do have lots of answers in our deck for this, but not handy. So we could draw Touch the Spirit Realm. We could draw Solitude. Right. That is great. Okay, so here's what I think we do. We are gonna this is a creature, so it takes away the mana ability. So we definitely want to stick our Clarion Conqueror here. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm just gonna Solitude. I will exile Timeless Dragon. I mean, there's a chance that Witch Enchanter hits something. Timeless Dragon. We could get a second White Source. If they have a Wasteland, then we will want that. Well, we won't actually have the mana for it. Boromir is going to help us get through a lot of... I don't think Boromir does anything against their deck, but it is a 3 mana creature that can help add to the board quickly. And I think we hold the Witch Enchanter as a land. Yeah. Hogaak there. He's gone. They gain a bunch of life. And then we pass. And they have the ability to tap 1 swamp. We're going to Surveil here. My plan is to just jam Boromir and just start attacking, basically. So they'll have more mana next turn. They have nothing in their graveyard. Hogaak is far away. There's nothing to target with this. There's no reason to play it out. It's worth noting that I can't actually use the sacrifice ability while this is out here, which is not a big deal. I mean, it's not flavor text. It does come up, but the real thing is stopping 0 drops. I guess technically, like, this stops Flashback Therapy. If no mana was spent to cast it, yeah, it's pretty cool. So they've got a few turns to dig out of this. If they attack in with Stitcher Supplier, I probably will block it. They kept whatever they drew, though, or whatever they found, though. So they could kill this. They have like a Fatal Push. Nope. So far, we haven't lost a single game. Leyline is coming in. You better believe it. Is Chalice any good against their deck? Let's see. They have Thoughtseize. They have... I mean, Plow is certainly good against their deck. We have touch and solitude already, though. Do we really need plow in addition? Or is it better to have the chalice? Let's think about what we're cutting. So, Elite Spellbinder can put Hogaak in a place where it's harder to cast. Seasoned Dungeoneer seems really risky when they have a lot of weenies. We don't necessarily need it. They did take Archon when they looked at our hand, so that tells me Archon's probably pretty good here. We didn't see a Wasteland. It's possible they don't have Wastelands, in which case we could take out some of our Timeless Dragons. It does... I mean, this card is pretty weak in general. In my humble opinion, it was strong a long time ago. It's not necessarily that strong right now. I don't know if they have any targets for Witch Enchanter. Yeah, I think Boromir gets to stay in. At least Spellbinder. I mean, they almost certainly have Brazen Borrower. I think maybe this is the cut. They have tons of mana, and this is the only creature that dies to Brazen Borrower in our entire deck. Or, I'm sorry, Orcish Bowmaster. So I think we make that change. I'm not going to take out the Chalice. And we're going to mull aggressively to Leyline, I think. Unless I get like an exceptional hand. Like this is not exceptional. This is meh. Oh. This is double white here. It's painful, but I'm going to keep this on the back, on the strength of Leyline. And I'm going to definitely put Dungeoneer on the bottom because it would be Nightmare if they reanimated that. All right. They can still play Hogaak from hand, but they won't have a graveyard to fuel him. So they're going to need like 7 creatures. Plus they probably have things to remove Leyline. I imagine it's like a huge consideration of theirs. They find Nurturing Peatland. That's their land. Pay 1. Thoughtseizes. That's fine. They're going to probably take Conqueror. They might take one of the Witch Enchanters. These don't actually do damage to us because we're going to... Yeah, they're going after our mana. Best thing we could draw would be like an Ancient Tomb here. Okay, I'm glad that they didn't discard that. Let's go ahead and play this out. And there's no reason to pay the life. So we're just in top deck mode. We have, I think, 20 more sources that we're looking for. Another Thoughtseize. This is fine. They'll probably take Timeless Dragon here because that's how we tech up to like 3 mana. They're doing a lot of damage to themselves. They're already at 14. Wow, they took the Chalice. That's fine with me. I guess it's pretty strong against their deck, though. All right, here we go. I think we just Clarion. Yeah, I'm going to Clarion. This shuts off enough of their deck, I think. Like, I imagine they have some activated abilities other than just the thing. The Dryad Arbor. Bayou. Do they have a push? They do. That's fine. Next turn, we can Timeless Dragon, and then we'll have 2 mana, which doesn't really matter. But like Eternalizing Timeless Dragon can probably outclass most of the cards in their deck. Okay. So if they have a creature that can just wipe our entire hand, but I think our top deck's pretty well because again, we're not playing Lotus Petals and stuff like that. They name Sieges and Dungeoneer. If they have a Reanimate, it's a chore. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just Timeless Dragon twice. And then we can start putting these in every turn. And we have no hand if they want to disrupt us further. So every turn we're going to be putting a dragon out. That's pretty powerful. Even if they use the initiative, like if they take the initiative using our creature. Oh, that's nice. Do we play this? I think we just dragon because it gets the job done faster. But we can play this without actually taking any damage. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this. This might be disruptive. Okay, Petal, can't use it. All right. Did we like lock them off mana that they were about to use? Were they waiting on that 3rd mana? Okay, so I think here we just attack and we can touch something, or we can touch our own creature if they have like some sort of instant speed interaction. Now I'm just going to go ahead. I will hold up white. Yeah, so we'll go like that. And we're going to make dude. Zombie Dragon. We got Dragon Beatdown. They are on a short clock here. We are flawless and we're flying. These games have been very fast. All right, we're on the draw yet again. I think we've been on the draw all these games, which hasn't stopped us. Let's see. Is this hand good enough? Our opponent is likely on like a tempo deck, like Blue-Black Reanimator or something like that. I don't like having Dungeoneer in the hand if that happens, but we do have Solitude if that happens. They sometimes play Stoneblade, like Jeskai Stoneblade, which is a control deck, but they also play a lot of tempo. I mean, this hand's fine. I don't want to mull into a terrible, non-workable hand. I'm going to keep this. Hope they don't like Thoughtseize and Reanimator. The main barometer you should be thinking of, oh, this deck. Well, we are very favored if we can find our Conqueror. The main thing that you have to think about with creatures now is, okay, what if my opponent Thoughtseizes it and reanimates it? Like, if that happens, GG, you know? I think I'm going to make use of my mana here, and I'm just going to Thomas Dragon instead. I don't think my life total matters. They're probably not going to have Wasteland in their Urza tower deck. So Archon will make life pretty unfun for them. Yeah, they had the combo. Is this One Ring already? Karn doesn't matter if that's what they get. Yeah, Karn's not a big deal. They are pretty close to lattice locking us. Too bad I can't get Seasoned Dungeoneer out in time. Well, I might be able to get it out in time for the lattice lock because they don't have a dude yet. Okay, they're just plus it. That makes sense. I'm not worried about my life total. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Even without mana, we can kill something with Solitude if we have to. I think Archon is the most disruptive thing we can do here. And it does apply pressure to Karn. Karn can plus every turn, but it doesn't have flying. Or we just shut off Karn completely with Anointed Peacekeeper. I think that's the way we do it. Yeah. Archon of Emeria is really strong. Non-basic lands enter. My main concern is that they do go. No, I'm going to play the Peacekeeper. We get to look at their hand, see how screwed we are. I mean, if we just manage to top deck, what do we care about? I mean, I don't care about One Ring, actually. Like, I care about Karn minusing and getting something messed up. They can draw a bunch of cards with One Ring. Cruel Captain. Let's see. Yeah, they have it Urza's Tower, so they definitely have us lattice locked if we don't lock down Karn. So I'll have to. They can go get Portable Hole as well. They can get Portable Hole with Tezzeret. So they do have white mana, unfortunately, among other things. So let's think about this. So they play Tezzeret, Cruel Captain. They go get thing, and they can't immediately lattice lock us. Okay, but what we do know that we need to name Karn the Great Creator here. We don't get lattice locked, and we shall pass. I'm hoping that we get to use a Solitude on a dude. I think most likely they Karn, or they drop this, and then they probably Tezzeret. And then also One Ring next turn. I mean, they also have this pedal. So they could do both for sure. I'm not feeling good about this game. I feel like if we were on the play, we would have a lot more agency here. This deck is a menace. This is one of the reasons I'm playing the deck that I'm playing right now. I'm so sick of losing to this deck. And I'm hopeful that we won't lose to it. But we are probably going to lose this game. I mean, look at that. 7 mana. Just crazy. Here comes Tezzeret. Oh, here's the One Ring. Sure. Look at an opponent's hand. It doesn't target, so they can't avoid it. Okay, Tezzeret comes in. Tezzeret goes and gets Portable Hole. Portable Hole bends this. Then they can use Karn. Or they could draw more cards. They may not have Portable Hole in their main deck. They may have to get it with Karn. Oh, Portable Hole doesn't hit this because it's 3 mana. I think Portable Hole only hits like 1 and 2 drops. If we draw... I mean, we could still win. We could still win if we get lucky. And if they don't have a K command. Yeah, they're using this ability. So I think they have like a key in hand I accidentally dismissed. If we get Conqueror, we can still win, I think. Mox Opal, okay. Another thing that gets shut off if we find our magic card that we're looking very hard for. And it is a magic card. All the cards are. That's fine. So that was their draw for turn. It's not particularly compelling. So this doesn't shut off the ability. They just have to pay 2 more to use it, which they could have done. All right. So we can still attack their creatures. Come on. Oh, touch the Spirit Realm. Does this help? This can exile the One Ring. Is that worth spending mana on? Okay, so here's what we could do. So they have a key in hand. We can't kill Cruel Captain right now, I don't think. This is artifact or creature. So we could add to the board with Witch Enchanter while blowing up one of their keys, but they have another key. These other permanents don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. We could also just get the initiative. Oh, if we get the initiative, we could attack for 4 potentially and kill Tezzeret. They still have a lot of mana, but there's no way they're going to be able to kill us if we have the initiative. They can't lock us off and just ignore the initiative. That would be foolish. So what I'm going to do is I am going to introduce the initiative here. Okay. All right, let's go find our planes here. Let's go to combat. I'm going to attack Tezzeret, and I'm going to hope that we find... Oh, yeah, it worked. It worked. We have Touch the Spirit Realm on the top. We don't need it, though, so I'm going to put it in the graveyard. And Tezzeret going to die. Bye, Cruel Captain. Okay, and now, like, we're just so favored, it's not even funny. In terms of, like Karn can activate it, but like they could lattice lock us, but I'm not too worried about it. I've got Solitude in hand for... They have another one. Oh, no, that's not good. That's not good, friends. They could go get... I mean, they could pay a bunch of money and use... I mean, they're going to have a lot of cards in hand, but they could use... what's it called? We're going to buff up our Seasoned Dungeoneer, and we're going to kill Karn and Tezzeret this turn. That's the goal. If they don't get Ensnaring Bridge. If they get an Ensnaring Bridge, we just touch it, and then we attack in. So, yeah, I think we have plenty of options. I'm not worried about them lattice locking us, though, because we have so much mana. If they have the Ugin guy, that would be annoying. I mean, how many good cards can they have? They've been drawing. They ripped a Tezzeret to replace the Tezzeret they had before. They do have this they can activate to draw a card. We're already pre-boarded for this matchup, so we're not going to get any better, unfortunately, after sideboard. That's seriously annoying. Seriously annoying. They get a bunch of things. Now they don't have the mana to lattice lock us currently, but they're stacking their deck. If they find another K command, they could kill our Dungeoneer. Okay, they're using Karn. Again, I hope they go for... Because I've got Witch Enchanter too. They can blow up Bridge if they grab that. I'm going to ignore the Captain. I'm going to go straight for the Karn. So let's see. They have 1, 2, 3. That is not lattice lock. Paradox Engine. Do they have the mana for that? They're going to hope to draw into it. They've already made their land drop, though. Monolith. They do have a key. Oh, no. This gives them the ability to untap stuff. They haven't used it yet. They can tap, untap, and then Paradox Engine, and then we're just dead, I think. Yeah, that's 5 mana there. Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time. This is so annoying. Yeah. Okay, well, that's how their deck works. I mean, we could bring in Disruptor Flute. Yeah, I think we do. I think Boromir does counter like Moxen and stuff like that. The Petals is not great. Spellbinder, making stuff cost more mana. Not where we want to be. Again, this card, I just want to emphasize, this card is probably the worst card in the deck, and it's just there because we need a little bit more density. Chalice on 0. I think we Chalice on when we hit their keys, but they can just get that anyway, like off. Is this worth keeping in the deck? I don't think Chalice on 0 does much. I think we actually pull this. Yeah. I think it sucks, but that's how we're going to do it. I'm not a fan of Solitude, but if it is like a free answer to their win con, like they're really the way they win. Yeah. Okay. This is Clarion Conqueror on turn 2. This is with a backup one. I mean, this has to be it. Let's keep. And they get their first turn, but then we Clarion Conqueror, and then they answer the Clarion Conqueror, and then we have a backup. All right. No moves. I've got nothing scary going on here at all. Please don't cast like, whatever it's called. Disruptor Flute. Grim Monolith, okay. I will allow it since I can't do anything about it. Key, of course. So now they're going to have 4 mana. And now 1 ring or Karn. Mystic Forge. That is a passive ability that we can't stop, unfortunately. So they can start yeah, there's a petal. I mean, this is turn 1. So frustrating to play against this deck. As anything other than a Force of Will deck, and then they just overwhelm your Force of Wills. So like it's definitely got a target on its back going into EW. Like I am thinking heavily about this deck because it's so frustrating to play against. If they may be able to get a big enough K command to exile this, but I'm going to just stick the other one immediately. That is a win con that ignores what we're doing over here, unfortunately. 3 mana. Fleshraker, super annoying. Solitude answers the Fleshraker. Okay, this is great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick this first one so they can't ever get out from under it. Then I'm going to Solitude pitching Timeless Dragon. Okay, so that's gone. Now I'll just, I mean, there's no reason to play this new one now just in case we need the burst of mana next turn. Okay, so they can still make constructs and they'll still be big. But can they race us? That remains to be seen. Next turn, we can stick a Anointed Peacekeeper and we can stop them from making one of them. They're casting 0 drops from the top of their deck. There's Urza's Workshop, which creates a lot of mana too. Okay, they're tapping. They have a... Oh, Karn. Yeah, that doesn't do anything, dude. Good luck with that. I think you should have just made a construct. All right, and I'll just kill Karn real quick, just in case they're able to get under... is that correct? So now we have Disruptor Flute. I think we just Disruptor Flute Saga, just in case they have another one. So we can Disruptor Flute Saga and we can cast... Let's go ahead and cast Anointed Peacekeeper first. They're like super dead. I don't know how they get out of this. Okay, they have Ugin, which is super annoying. He can't use the ability, but he can exile stuff, so I'm going to name Ugin. Again, like, if you were to put all the cards I don't like in Magic the Gathering into one deck, like, we're basically looking at that. I think it's Ugin Eye of the Storms, right? Good luck getting the mana. Let's see, 1, 2. Because this is going to go away. This is an activated ability, but it's a mana ability, so we can't needle it. We're just going to name Urza Saga so they can't create a dude. Now we will kill Karn, just in case you're... No, I'm not going to kill Karn. I'm going to go face. I think the longer this game goes on, the worse it gets for it. Because they have to kill both of these. They have a redundant Karn in hand anyway. They can't make a dude. I don't think what they can get. Like, K-Command is the best card in their deck by far. So they could float with Urza's Saga or Urza's Workshop here. They do have Metalcraft. I'm just terrified. What could they have? Why are they still playing the game? That doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. But I guess nothing else they can get out of their deck does anything either. Okay, you're dead on board. If you tap that tomb, you're dead in the air on board. Do you have the K command? Good game. All right, that's how this should go. I feel correct that Chalice doesn't want to be in the deck. Who knows how difficult it would have been able to win had we not had Solitude, so that was a lucky rip. Let's go ahead and go to the final round, or the final game. Again, I will be very disappointed if I can't beat this deck consistently, because as degenerate as their deck is, I feel like our deck, I mean, it's really just designed to hate on it. Okay, so Archon is slow. We don't have any turn one. Well, we have turn one Disruptor Flute into turn two Archon. This does slow the roll quite a bit. We have touch to remove stuff. I think this is a keep. I would love to have the Archon, but we're not going to get the Archon, unfortunately. So hopefully they do a bunch of stuff to play like a Karn, and then I can just Disruptor Flute him. Or they do like a bunch of stuff to get a One Ring, and then I just needle the One Ring. Flute the One Ring. Key. All right, I think I just needle that. Witch Enchanter is a great rip. Let's go ahead and do that. Just needle what is known. Yeah, and if they have the One Ring, I can touch it. Or I can, yeah, I can touch it. Okay, I'm going to do that, and I'll pass. I could have waited and done this at instant speed, but like if they put like a, monolith on the stack. Okay, so they have the 4 mana, as always. Fleshraker is annoying. We can remove it. How many other cards do they have? Petal. Okay, that's annoying. I'm going to say that word a lot against this deck because the deck is... this deck pisses me off like even more than Blue-Black Reanimator, because Blue-Black Reanimator is like... I feel like you can kind of play around it. And okay, so I think we just touch this. No, I think I'm going to Archon. I think that's probably better here because then their subsequent lands will come in tapped. They can only cast 1 spell a turn. They could have the K command for it, which would be really annoying. Let's see. Let's say they hypothetically do have K command. They do have the mana to K command this out of play. I think I just need to kill this first. It sucks because I would like to get on board. Next turn, I will have Witch Enchanter, but I just need to get him out of play. I don't believe they have any way to interact with this and ever get him back. If they had One Ring, they might have just gone for it there. So they don't have Metalcraft yet. Okay, here's One Ring. Karn. Okay, so we can't stop Karn, unfortunately. They can try to Lattice Lock us. I think we just Archon here. And that'll eventually beat him down in the air. They're minusing here. Liquid metal coating, they're going to start blowing up our lands. They can do that now, annoyingly. They blow up this ancient tomb. Actually, yeah, that like totally screws us, doesn't it? They can't do it yet. So this, oh, so frustrating. Yeah, they're going to do it during our upkeep. They just tap that down. Is there a point in touching something? I don't think there is, because we can go. I think we're kind of screwed, unfortunately. Like, there's the Clarion Conqueror. We technically do have it next turn with Witch Enchanter, but they start blowing up our lands, so we never get to it. It's so frustrating. So frustrating. And they can even target basic lands with this, right? They can target literally anything and blow it up. So what we need to do is we need to draw into another ancient tomb, basically, because they're going to blow up our ancient tomb here. This touch cannot target lands, target artifact or creature. And unfortunately, like, oh, we do it during the end step and it goes away. Let's see. Exile target, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. I think we have to do that, sadly. I mean, it's pathetic, but like, what other option do we have? We need to keep this land around so we can stick Clarion Conqueror. Things get better from there, but then we still have to worry about the damn K command. They have one card in hand. They're just going to do something else with Karn. So I'm going to set a stop in my end step here, and then I'm going to play this out, and I'm just going to use touch to just get a turn's reprieve. Again, they'll still be able to do it in our upkeep, but we will have Witch Enchanter into Clarion Conqueror, which might be enough. It sucks to do this, by the way. Like, that feels terrible. Okay, so they can't use Karn's ability to blow up a land this turn, but they can still tap one down. Maybe that wasn't the right play because they blow up a land. They tap and they plus, and then they blow up a land. Now they might go get something else with the One Ring, but I'm heartened to know that Clarion Conqueror is just going to like completely tamp down what they're doing. We're going to take a bunch of damage putting Witch Enchanter in, though. And again, if they ever find a K command, which I suspect they will because they always do, we're screwed. So what are they getting here? Yeah, I don't think I actually accomplished anything with that play. I probably should have held it because they're going to blow up this tomb no matter what. It'll be next turn, but they'll stop us from being able to use it. End step, they'll get that back. Paradox Engine, please don't be able to do that right now. Oh, they can. Yeah, do they? How much stuff do they have? This is the end of the game, unfortunately. This is how many games against this deck. 1 mana, they play a key, everything untaps. It's like your lands, everything untaps. It's so much BS. Please pass the turn. I want to be able to use my Clarion Conqueror and have a prayer. Because they get that back. If they have a K command, then they can cast it instant speed. It's bad. Now we pass priority. Now they lock down our Ancient Tomb again. Okay. Planes would be nice so we don't have to take damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shock this in, play. Yes, I'd like to pay the 3 life. And let's wreck your entire career. You can just keep untapping lands every turn, but you can't do anything else. But if they have a K command or like a Cruel Captain, I think they can probably wiggle out of this. I'm going to kill Karn for sure here. Just don't want him on the... So I dislike Karn for different reasons than Bryant Cook of the Epic Storm, but he always calls him Karn, the Great Priest of Trash, which is just so like juvenile, and they're going to exile this, I can tell. Manifold Key. Oh yeah, that does untap everything, unfortunately. Oh, does it not untap lands? I thought it untapped lands. Non-land. There's 4 mana. Another Karn. That's fine. That does untap everything, but you don't have any card draw engine. So they're going to get a bigger Karn. Okay. Wow. Did we just turn the corner? So let's see. 1, 2. They have so much mana. So much mana, unfortunately. We can double spell here, though, if we draw a land. Elite Spellbinder, not a good card here. So I think we Archon. If we anointed Peacekeeper, we can name K command, but they still have plenty of mana. Let's see. And if I hadn't used that touch, I could have protected the touch. It's not that it would matter. If they ever get to use their stuff again, they win. Now the question is, do we even attack Karn? Because if they get rid of this, the game's over. I don't think we even bother attacking him. I think we anointed Peacekeeper here just because it does more damage. We name K command. They have 1, 2, So they have 3 Urza's lands. So these each produce 3 freaking mana. That's crazy. So they have the Ugin mana. But let's see. That's 9, 10. Yeah, even if we name Archon, even if we... I think we just have to Archon to slow them a little bit. No, I'm going to Peacekeeper. I mean, the thing is they can block with this, but they can't activate. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play out on the Archon and trust that it'll do something here. Hopefully it does. All right, and then we will just attack them directly in the face. We're going to ignore Karn. Again, as I said before, we just lose if they get rid of this. The game is just over. The best thing we can draw is the second one. They are drawing to Ugin and to K-Command. If they find either of those cards, the game's over. They didn't find it. Okay, that's good. Come on, give me a second one. Clarion. Ha! You deserve this. You deserve this for registering this degenerate deck that you're playing. All right. Now they've got to draw 2 K-Commands, but they could K-Command into another K-Command, exiling and scrying, and they could dig out of this. We'll take keys, fine. You get to untap. Nothing. Okay, great. I think I want to name K-Command just to make it harder for them to K-Command into K-Command now. It doesn't change the clock. Seasoned Dungeoneer. We get a land. It doesn't... None of these get a buff. I don't think we Dungeoneer here. I don't think I'm... But Dungeoneer actually does give us some degree of inevitability in case they do. Now, I think the play is to anoint a Peacekeeper and name K-Command. I think it'll disrupt them. And they can't K-Command twice in a turn anyway. If they can't K-Command twice in a turn anyway, they could do it on our turn and then on their turn. Do we... They have a Elite Spellbinder, could name... So it's just that card. We can't name anything else. It's not like Anointed Peacekeeper. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play Anointed Peacekeeper. And I'm gonna name K-Command. I think that's the card. Attack face. They're still dead in 2 turns anyway. All right, and we should know after the draw step whether we... I think we're fine because they can't get rid of... They could get rid of more than one thing. Whew. All right. The deck beat the deck it's supposed to beat. That's good. We are 4-0 going into a trophy round. I have to jump into a meeting. Hopefully my mojo will not be thrown off by this meeting and I will come back and I will trophy. I'll see you instantaneously. All right, final round. We're on the draw yet again. My goodness, I think we've been on the draw all 5 rounds. Which is, we don't want to be. We want to absolutely be on the play. Our opponent is likely on Painter. Let's take a look real quick. I'm going to cheat. We have to get the trophy. They could be on... No, they only play Legacy Painter. So let's think about, like, does Chalice even do anything against them? It stops Welder, but it doesn't do anything on the draw. I mean, it stops the Blasts, which are only a problem if they get a Painter out. This does have an answer to Painter, which Enchanter is not terrible. One of the problems with this hand, though, is it's going to do so much damage to ourselves. I don't like this hand. I don't think Chalice is super strong against them. Certainly not on the draw. Let's mull. Okay, this is Conqueror. I think we put back the Chalice. Gosh, double Chalice. Yeah, I guess we could Chalice for 1, and that shuts off the Blasts. And then I'm definitely putting back a Chalice here. And then we Conqueror, which is very important. They do have Bolt in their deck, but Conqueror basically shuts their entire deck down. It's really strong against them if they don't have removal. But there's no way that I'm leading on Plains here. So I'm very much looking forward to updating the deck because I've thought a lot about it since I started this league, and I do think we should have Lotus Petal in here instead of Timeless Dragon. Like, just imagine how explosive we could be if we had like Lotus Petal instead of this Timeless Dragon. I think I'm going to take out all 4 Timeless Dragons. I'm going to bring in all 4 Petals. I know it sucks when you top deck a Petal when you got Clarion Conqueror out, but if you have Clarion Conqueror out, you're probably already winning. So let's go ahead and Chalice first. Even though it doesn't feel great, it does shut off their bolts, which is very necessary. It shuts off nothing from our deck, importantly. And it would suck if they did get Painter out. And I mean, like, it stops them from casting Grindstorm from hand. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a... okay, there we go. Looking forward to shutting that down. All right, so we don't need to interact with it now. We can wait. So they can't blast. They name blue. Okay. I guess they're always going to name blue because they have the blasts. All right, so here, Boromir, 0 mana to cast it. Is that better than Timeless Dragon? I think it is. We've got plenty of cards for Timeless Dragon. So I want to go ahead and do this now just in case there's something I'm not thinking of. Yeah. I'm going to get rid of this dude. And I realize they have other things that we might need to get rid of later, but I'm hoping that we disrupt them enough with Conqueror. 2 colorless in the pool, 1 white. Is this GG? Hopefully so. I'm trying to think, what do they even have that gets rid of this? We shut off one of their lands. Cast a Filer, of course, but that's pretty far away. They can't grindstone us. Like they need both an Ancient Tomb and an Urza Saga, and I don't think they would have both of those. I don't think they have any flyers that can block this. Okay, great. We're going to be able to organically recover our lands now, and we can get Boromir next turn. If they can get rid of this, though, we're in an extremely weak position. Another Painter's fine. All right, so this comes out. We can't use its ability just to regenerate our creatures, unfortunately, if they kill this. But we can beat face with it. And it does stop their 0 drops. So if they have Lotus Petals or Mox or anything like that, they say, great Plains art. Thank you. I love this Plains art. Like, I feel like the Tempest block and the Mirage block just had like the most insane art. And my opponent has also chosen a tasty Mercadian Masks art for their mountain. So they are an enjoyer of the old school lands. Okay, so this is a lot of mana. Fable could break this open. They could double block my Boromir now if they're concerned about life, which I imagine they are. They're going to be able to loot away some of their 1-drops. I'm just going to play this out. I'm going to attack in all. If they want to double block to trade, that's fine with me. They're going to be able to get some artifacts they can't use. But again, if they find Chaos Defiler and a Black Source, we're pretty screwed because they have lots of mana. They discard... Oh, okay, they discarded Chaos Defiler. That's terrifying. If they have Engineer, they could get Chaos Defiler online. Oh, they can't. Actually, Engineer doesn't work. Wow, that was freaking phenomenal. All right. We have to win again on the draw, of course. Disruptor Flute. I think Leyline actually comes in. It does work here. I don't think Chalice does work. I don't know. I mean, Chalice might have shut down some stuff. We're going to be on the draw, though. So Leyline of the Void does screw up like their recursion, which is a big part of their deck. I think we bring in Leylines, and I want to bring in Plows. But what do we cut? Boromir is not pretty... Oh, like we could just cut these Timeless Dragons that... Again, like I just think this was a design mistake on my part. I can see how it'd be all right, but it's so slow and it just doesn't really interact with our... Like putting a 4/4 on the table doesn't really interact with your opponent. How bad would our mana base? We'd have 28, 22 lands. I think it's probably okay. Let's see, like Leyline. I mean, they can always bolt the blast the Leyline out of play. Let's take a look at their deck again. So what are they likely to bring in? They're probably going to cut a bunch of their bolts. They're definitely cutting if they have Blood Moon in their deck. They don't. They've got Cruel Captains. Oh. 2 Grindstone. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to... What does Leyline screw up? Leyline screws up Soul Cauldron and that whole angle. But they might board that out anyway, suspecting that we don't use our graveyard. It's I think it's good enough. I'm going to bring it in, and then maybe we don't even need to use it. Disruptor Flute also screws up some of their stuff. They're not a 1-ring deck, though. Let's take a look. I mean, it feels weird not to play Disruptor Flute, but we do want to get these Plows in, because Plow is very good against their deck. I feel like these Elite Spellbinders are particularly mediocre here, but they don't actually have anything to ping them with. Seasoned Engineer is dangerous against a deck with so many creatures. Boromir is pretty meh, though. Let's see. How many 0-drops do they have? I have like a few seconds. They don't have a lot. They've got like 2. So I think we take Boromir out. And I don't want to go too light on threats. I'm going to take out some of these. Okay, we'll do this. Executive decision, 19 seconds on the clock. So Leyline is great if we get it in our opening hand, but I'm not going to mull to it. But I will mull bad hands and maybe find one as a result. Best card in our deck is the best card in our deck in almost all situations, which is Clarion Conqueror. Looking to not throw back hands that have that. I think we throw this back. Yeah, this is pretty rough mana. Mull. This is a keep. It's not a great keep, but Peacekeeper is quite good. I'm going to throw back one of the cities. So we have Plow into Anointed Peacekeeper. Okay, and Anointed Peacekeeper can... Okay, that's aggressive. All right, I'm just going to play the Plow on their creature that they play out this turn. There it goes. Yes! We can't shut off that, but let's just say that the constructs that come out of this are not as big as the ones that come out of our blue painter deck generally. Okay, they do have the combo. All right, so they are going to be getting some big dudes. All right, so the question is, do we want to just take a turn off? I mean, they could just have the dude. We don't have any recourse. They do. If we chill, we have Plow up, and we have the ability to land cycle for Timeless Dragon. I think I want to keep the Plow up, and then I'll have 4 mana up, which would be nice. And if we don't need to use if we have to Plow, then we don't use Timeless Dragon, but I think it's okay. They could potentially have Blast on top of everything else. They're making a construct. It's a 2/2. They're searching. Not sure what they're going to be searching for because they already have the Grindstone. Probably just the Shadow Spear. Mox Opal. Okay, they have a lot of mana. But they don't apparently have the dude, or they would have played him by now. Okay, so... Yeah, this is unfortunate. So, did we just lose? I think we might have. I do want to Plow this construct just to keep things manageable. But that does leave us vulnerable. I think that's more important than getting a Timeless Dragon, like another land. I think we just play these cards out like 1 per turn. I do want to save the damage here, so I do think I Plow. These are going to get bigger. Yeah, I have to Plow here because he's going to get even bigger when the Goblin Shaman attacks. So yeah, I'm just going to go and do this now. It sucks. I don't think we're winning this game. Like, our opponent had a pretty explosive opener. Archon is good, but not as good as Clarion Conqueror. Again, we're just going to hope that this does some damage. Shuts off Opal. They could have Fury. This does trade with this. And I will throw it in front of it because I really need several things to go my way this game. It would be really nice if I had drawn a Solitude. Okay, they bend Furnace. Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't do anything, but it does buff the construct. Come on, don't have the Painter. Okay. If they have the Painter, they win. Oh, this is okay. Yeah, I think we have to Anointed Peacekeeper, probably naming Grindstone, naming Painter. We name Painter, and they can't cast it. Yeah, I'm going to take this 4. They're not attacking with their Goblin Shaman. They could have made their dude bigger at the cost of sacking a Goblin Shaman. Okay, so options. 1, we can go ahead and Timeless Dragon for a land, and then we can Archon, which slows them down, but I don't think it's good enough. I think we need a Peacekeeper. So I am going to do that. I can do it like this and just Peacekeeper now and look at their hand. Oh, they have Bolt? Well, they can just Bolt and stop me, like kill my dude. Making that more expensive doesn't change anything. They have Chaos Defiler next turn. Ay. Yeah, let's just go to the next game. There's no way we're winning this. Chaos Defiler, let's see. They Bolt. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they can just create a construct and then Chaos Defiler, and there's no way we ever beat Chaos Defiler. So making the Bolt more expensive doesn't change anything. I'm going to concede. Okay. I'm trying to get a trophy, but I just genuinely, I think there's zero hope here. Okay, so now we finally play a game on the, I think this is the first time in the entire league we're actually on the play. No, wait, I think we got one game on the play against Karnforge. Okay, so I do think Chalice comes in. I think these Timeless Dragons, again, are just like a deck building mistake. Would Leyline have helped there? Probably not. I think it helps, but does it help enough? I think Flute comes in. But if we're bringing in Flute, I mean, Boromir. Oh, Boromir stops Fury. Yeah, Boromir stops Fury. I'm bringing him back in. Fury's a huge pain for us. How many Furies do they likely play? 3 out of the board. Like, I would definitely be bringing those in. Yeah, I think this is the configuration we want. Again, I'm tempted to bring in the Disruptor Flute, but like, there's so many things to name, it's not even funny. And I like being proactive and just doing damage. So let's. Oh, we don't want the Plows if we're bringing the Chalices in though. So maybe we do bring these in. Feels really bad, But it does shut off Grindstone. Like, we're not going to die on the Grindstone angle if we just hold it and are patient with it. How many? So we got 34 white cards. I think that's high enough. I mean, I would like to have that higher. I think I'm going to bring in 2 Timeless and 2 Disruptor. I don't believe in... I think it's way too passive not having any of these in. Trinisphere is pretty meh here. I mean, they do have a lot of 1-drops, but yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and trim 2 of these. I think 4 is probably too many. And we're going to, after this, we're going to do a deck tech, and I'm going to see if I can improve it and do another league. Because this league went so fast. I want you to get value for clicking in. Oh, this is Chalice into Archon with nothing following up, but it's possible we draw something else, but like Seasoned Engineer is so far away. I think, can Archon and Chalice go all the way? It buys us a few turns. It's rough. It's rough. I think I'm going to, I mean, I could, how do we feel about this? Like Clarion Conqueror is by far the best, but if we get Chalice without Clarion, I'm going to mulligan this. I think we can do better. Okay, this is Witch Enchanter. This has Solitude. Touch the Spirit Realm. I think we just put back an Elite Spellbinder. Well, Elite Spellbinder does damage that's in the air. Yeah, I don't think this is terrible. I don't necessarily want to go lower. Solitude's really good in this deck. Like being able to just remove at instant speed their painter when they're trying to grind you is real. They mulled to 6 as well. I think we keep this and we put back... We could put back Touch, but we could also use Touch on Solitude as a combo, and that would be pretty strong. I don't want to put back Boromir. No, because of Fury. I'm going to put back the Spellbinder. Because Spellbinder is like free. If they Fury, they can kill Peacekeeper plus a Spellbinder. This toughness is so light. So let's keep. Put this back. Done. And then what I'll do is I'll just put this in tapped so I don't take damage. Because this game could come down to damage. They're unlikely to do anything here. I seriously doubt they bring in Blood Moon or Magus here. But even if they bring in Magus, we have that covered. But I don't even think they have Blood Moon in their 75. I think almost all Painter style decks have Magus instead. Okay, there's Welder. We can definitely see what we... I'm going to Peacekeeper and see what I find. And then I can... Okay, a second Solitude. Yeah, I definitely want a Peacekeeper just to look at their hand. Okay, so they do have Fury. They have Fable, which they can't cast yet. Engineer is strong. Engineer, like, so with the Welder out, Engineer immediately just devastates us. If I name Engineer, there's a good chance they Fury pitching the Engineer. No, because then they can clear the path. I definitely want to wait on the Solitude. This is hard. Leave a comment with the timestamp if you have strong feelings one way or the other. I think we turn off Engineer. Would they Fury just to kill this? That would free up their Engineer for the subsequent turn. What I don't want them to do is I don't want them to Fury. Maybe I just name Fury and then I can Solitude, pitching, touch, and then I have Boromir to shut off Fury. And then they're pretty slow. They will get this out, but they don't necessarily have a third one. Yeah, I'm going to name Fury. I mean, they could just pay the 2 mana. I don't think they're going to do that, though. Okay, there is a Fury in here somewhere. Unfortunately, I cannot be more specific. Okay, there it is. Wait, where did it go? Come on. Show me that Fury. It's not like we're going to run out of time. This is game 3, right? Wait, is this game 3? This is game 2. No, game 3, because I won the first one off of Clarion Conqueror. Okay, so let's name Fury here. Let's pass. We'll wait for them to play the Engineer, and then we'll Solitude the Welder with the search on the stack. Huh. We have to kill this Welder. It may make sense to just Solitude, pitch Solitude, and then we have the option to get rid of the Engineer later. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Solitude now. And they will get the search, unfortunately. And I have to do it before the search resolves. Otherwise, they could just put the thing directly in. Yeah, it's pretty messy. But again, I am going to shut off Fury here completely. Oh, wait. No, this doesn't shut off Fury completely because they have to pay 2 mana. I think that stops the Boromir ability. Oh, my goodness. Hoisted by my own petard. Okay, they're going to get Dragon Engine probably. Which is okay. It sucks for us, but... Yeah, Dragon Engine. They just need... Yeah, I'm not going to let them bring this into play. Come on, give me a white card. Oh, no. Let's take a look at their hand again. Gosh, this Fury is infuriating. Like what I did there. Engineer. So they do have the Blast, which doesn't do anything right now, but it easily pitches to Fury. Oh, my goodness. This is a disaster. Had I not pitched the thing, I could have just gotten rid of that. With Touch the Spirit Realm, I screwed up pretty badly. I don't like this Chalice at this point because we know they have the Fury in hand. So let's read this text very carefully. Okay. Drink tempts you. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Yeah, this was not the right name. I feel so embarrassed that I'm punting this hard. But if I don't get rid of this now... So they can just Fury to kill it, but they're definitely going to Fable. Well, they can Fable and Fury in the same turn cycle if they find a land. This bringing back this is just devastating, though. They can unearth it, but they need a lot of mana. I mean, like, would they even notice that, like, they might not Fury because they misread, like the way I read it, that it's countered, but they're I mean, this coming back into play, dumps their hand. All right, I'm going to play to the crazy out of my opponent not knowing how the cards work. I think that's the best I can do here. I can always sacrifice this and give this indestructibility if I need to, so it survives, but it doesn't really matter that much. All right, so we're basically dead, is how I read this. The trophy's dead. Like I punted. Sorry, my excellent friends. We'll see what they do here. Okay, they have plenty of mana now. They can Fable. Maybe they Fable and they just read this and they're like, oh, I can't Fury. I can always sacrifice this to save this. And that does give me the ring tempting me, which doesn't make any difference really. It's not going to matter because this is the only ring tempt me unless I draw the other one. They're probably thinking really hard, like, wait, I just pay 2 mana and that works. I think they're going to wait and they're going to try to do this double strike thing on me. That doesn't really help, does it? Should I play it out? See, their hand is Pyroblast. I mean, I probably do want a Chalice. So I attack in. This is double strike, so this still dies, but they get the ability. They do have an artifact they can put in. I think they can also make a construct. It'll be a 2/2. If they bring this in, it'll be a 3/3. I don't think I have good attacks. If I Chalice for 2, that locks out the possibility of some things that they can do later. And it doesn't hurt me at all. I think things are going to get very rough for us as this game goes on. I think I should Chalice now, just in case they find like a bolt or something. Do I want to Chalice for 1? I think that's probably good considering they have the Pyroblast in hand. Chalice for 3 is not viable. Chalice for 2. Chalice for 2 shuts off Engineer. I think that's the only card, and it's already on the table. Untimely Malfunction could be in the deck. Change the target. 2 creatures. Yeah, I don't think they're going to play that. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this pain-free. I really wish I'd drawn a white card. Done. So we attack in. They bring out the Dreadnought, or the Dragon. So they can still create a construct and they can win in combat. Like we give indestructibility. This dies, but that's fine because they can just bring it back repeatedly. All they're losing is the furnace itself. These both have vigilance, though. It's possible that like they block and I just sacrifice. I mean, they wouldn't block this. I actually don't mind this dying because it really does shut off Fury, but if it's just trading with a construct, I don't think that's a good deal. So let's see, 1, 2, and then they have to pay 1 to activate. So yeah, they can pay that 1. They can activate. They bring this back. They get 3 fresh cards. They have a 2/2 double strike that trades with one of my dudes. And then they can create a construct that can trade with the other dude. And then I have literally no board. And they still have a Saga construct. I don't think it's correct to attack here. I'm going to chill. If I can find Clarion Conqueror, we can win this game. We can also multi-block when they do attack. And I think there's a decent chance they don't realize how Boromir and Anointed Peacekeeper interact. Okay, so they're going to create another dude. We'll see what they get here. Mox Opal. Mountain. That kills their land. They could bring back Dreadnought here. Or Dragon Engine. I think I just take this. I'm going to take it. Again, I'm going to hold out hope that we can overwhelm them. There's a card that I absolutely will be putting in my sideboard, which is Wrath of the Skies. It just didn't even occur to me to put that in there. But we should be putting that in there instead of some of the Trinispheres. Okay, this is unavoidable. This is going to create I think we're like completely outgunned here. They got so much value. I don't even know that us getting Conqueror out is going to be good enough if we draw it. So we can Solitude here. They cost us 2 life. We clear this Engineer. I feel like we do that, and then if they want to pitch their hand, they can. They don't actually have red mana available. So we can clear this, and we don't have to worry about them doing shenanigans. The other thing we could do is we could attack, and then but we can't instant speed this because we have to have the mana, and we can't have the mana at instant speed, unfortunately. I think we do want to go ahead and Solitude their dude, though. So I'm going to float 2, play this out. Then we're going to take 2 again. But we are going to have a lifelinker now. Solitude. Such a good card. We're going to exile their Engineer, which I think is correct, even though these make dudes. And we may have to multi-block here. And then I'm just going to chill for a turn. They are going to be able to use their Fable. Again, we're just hoping to draw the dragon. If we draw another Solitude, that could be good, but we need another land as well. They actually are not that far from just hard-casting Fury. Yeah, that's hardcast Fury. I think the game's over. No, wait, they can't hardcast Fury. Okay, so I think they might try to hardcast Fury. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't have the mana. So I'm just going to block. So if I block here, if I double block here, I can't unlock Fury for them. I think I have to take the 8. So the other, this is going to create a dude. So these are going to be even bigger. So there's the lethal attack. So we do have to block. Okay. So I think what I do here, damage all happens at the same time. So I can't sacrifice this. I mean, I could like just chump and sacrifice. Yeah, I think that might actually make sense. So I chump and I sacrifice. They could still pitch cast Fury. My creatures are indestructible. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go here. Gain some life. Here, I'll block 1. Okay, now, after block, I will sacrifice this. My creature will gain indestructibility. They'll lose their dude. I will take 5. I'll gain 3. I'll go back up to 8. And I get the 1 ring. I'm going to give this ability to Solitude, so Solitude can potentially attack in and gain life. That was a cool trick. Like, this card is good, for sure. But now they have Fury. But again, it doesn't matter because... okay, another Engineer. We're like super duper dead. The first one got removed. I don't know what we can draw here. I mean, if we drew Clarion Conqueror, it still wouldn't be enough, sadly. Yeah, man, I'm so sad. Like, I've had so many 4-1s this week where I get to the final round. And of course, every 4-1 is going to make it to the final round. And then that's where the heartbreak happens. Witch Enchanter. What does this do? Witch Enchanter, we blow up one of these. They still have the ability to bring back Brea's Apprentice, which is an ordeal. They can bring this back. They can't bring this back at instant speed. We could also kill this thing. I think we have to kill a construct, and it sucks that I have to pay life to do this. This is one of the better cards we could draw. So we'll kill a construct, and then we'll just attack everything. They can bring back Brea's Apprentice or Dragon Engine. They can't do it at instant speed, I don't believe. This draws some, gains some life, which I think is worth more. Because they may not have good attacks next turn. Well, they still have that Fury in hand. But as long as Anointed Peacekeeper is alive, they can't really use it. But now, if they... Okay, that's 7 mana, 6 mana. So they need 1 more. No, wait, they have the treasure token. So they can Fury here. I'm just going to take this. I think it'd be a mistake to block. I don't know how we're digging out of this. A second Witch Enchanter would actually be all right. But yeah, this is the Fury. And... it's going to kill this. What are they going to kill? I mean, and then they can copy it every turn too. So we need a Solitude, but we don't have a Might Source because we use our Witch Enchanter to do stuff. That's devastating. I'm trying to think of what we could draw. I don't think there's a draw. I mean, there's Clarion Conqueror. It's too late. Good games. I will. GG's, Trophy Killer. Congrats. I hope you feel good. Ruining my trophy with your very powerful Painter deck that is no longer in the top 12 decks, but is a very cool deck. I respect Painter. I do not mind losing to Painter. Let's take a look at the deck. So here's what I'm going to do. Timeless Dragon. Out. Lotus Petal. In. I love this deck, by the way. I was looking during my lunch break between meetings and stuff, and I did see that basically Phil from Thraben U built I think he had exactly the same creatures. He was using Sheltered by Ghosts instead of Touch the Spirit Realm, but he had basically the exact same creature. I think he might have had 4 Boromir. I don't think Boromir is a 4 of. And instead of playing Touch the Spirit Realm, he was playing Sheltered by Ghosts. So maybe I could do this. Add 1 to the deck just because I do like having a density of beaters. I don't think it's necessary. We've got the Solitudes. Yeah, maybe this was always a 3 of when I was playing Mono White Initiative, which, I kind of it gives me an icky feeling to admit that I did that for a while, but with Witherblend being as broke, or whatever his name was called, White Plume Adventurer being as broken as it was, I did take it to a tournament. Okay, so I think these Trinities come out and Disruptor Flute, we go down to 3, and then we bring in 3 Wrath of the Skies. This card would have been so devastating to board in. I think this is really just you're up against Doomsday, you're up against Show and Tell. You desperately need to buy time to survive. That's my read on Disruptor Flute. I don't want to board it in a whole lot. Yeah, we get 3 of these in there. All right, let's run another league. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Spellbinder, but it could do something. I am a huge fan of Anointed Peacekeeper. This card has been standing up. This dude is the master of arms. Look at those freaking biceps. It looks he's been injecting that weird vegetable oil stuff. Did you ever hear of that guy that got really buff without actually working out just by putting? I think ultimately he had to take his arms off or something. I don't know, but it is gross. But that is what this Anointed Peacekeeper looks like. He has been hitting the freaking curls. My goodness. Okay. I would be afraid to do anything around this guy. You better believe I would be scared straight. Okay, so what we established is that this is an incredible card. Very useful. Solitude is good as always. Chalice is good as always. We took out some slow mana sources. We put in some fast mana sources. I think this is going to be better. Let's do another league. This was fun, and I'm having fun, and these are going really quick. Round 1, we're up against Dredge. The good news, we have a bunch of ley lines in our sideboard. The bad news, Dredge is really tough to beat. I think what I'm going to do here is we're just going to Chalice for 0 to hopefully stop LED. Let's see. Well, maybe we want to Chalice for 1 because take a look at, they do play LED, of course. But if you look at, all their spells are X equals 1. Yeah, Otherworldly Gray, Cabal Therapy. Yeah, I'm going to Chalice for 1, and I'm going to hope they don't have LED. I mean, a Dream Hand would be 2 Chalices, 1 for 1 and 1 for 0. We're never going to be able to get to Seasoned Engineer, unfortunately, but, introducing the initiative against them is not, super duper smart, frankly. They have lots of evasive creatures. They can always just discard to hand size. I'm going to keep... Because, their cards, even when they're, flashing back and stuff... See, I mean, LED really does break it open. If the LED is their enabler, it's free to do. And then we also can continue to ramp up. We can do more than 1 creature. Otherwise, we only get 1 creature. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. All right. So we'll see if the LED was the card they had or if they have something else. They may just ignore this. LED is a big card for them, though. Okay, it looks like they had a different card. You don't generally win game 1 versus Dredge. That's just how it works. Yeah, they had Faithless Looting. I mean, they might have had LED too. We'll see if they discarded LED. I don't think they... Well, I mean, they're not getting rid of this. Okay, they did have the LED, so we were correct. We would have gotten really screwed. But they do have the Dredger now. We don't have anything to do from our graveyard. Oh, we can... Let's see. Anointed Peacekeeper looks at their hand. Spellbinder... Possible they have something in hand that we can Spellbinder. Spellbinder does the same amount of damage as Anointed Peacekeeper. Anointed Peacekeeper can... Yeah, I want to look at their hand first, and then maybe next turn I Spellbinder. Because this is pretty good blocker. Spellbinder's not a good... And also this is... I guess these... Cleric is part of the party, so we could buff either of these. Next turn I am going to take the initiative, though. I think it's our only chance. So we named Breakthrough, and they could still do it, but they can't do it. It takes them an extra turn. So I'm going to name Breakthrough. They said that's an easy choice. I would concur. Breakthrough is such a cool card, by the way. Like thematically and everything. I love the idea of like the Breakthrough being extremely perilous. That's an easy choice. Narcomoeba. Now, if they play out the Narcomoeba, it's actually a problem for us because we do have the Seasoned Engineer here, but they're going to dredge. They did find an Otherworldly Gaze that they can cast this turn. They're one turn away from Faithless Looting. They could play out the Underground Sea and just Therapy us. I think they're probably going to play out the Narcomoeba, and it sucks to give them the initiative, but like I feel like we're only going to win if we do a lot of damage really quickly. Next turn, they do have Breakthrough, so we are basically dead next turn. Unless if we find another one of these, that'd be great. Okay, Witch Enchanter. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and initiative here. I think they should have played out the Narcomoeba here. I'm not sure why they didn't. But I'm going to introduce the initiative here. I'm going to be hitting them a little bit harder. Oh, they have a force? What is this? Otherworldly Gaze? Okay, never mind. If they find a Narcomoeba in the top 3 cards, that would be annoying. But I mean, just playing it out is still a 3/3 flyer, 1/1 flyer that can hit us. Okay, so they will have Ox next turn. Yeah, they can go fetch. They can Ox. Exile 8 other cards. They have exactly 8. This doesn't have haste. They could find Fury or whatever, Anger. Okay, so we get the initiative. Let's go get an island or plains rather. So used to playing blue. Okay, so we got that in our hand. Let's just go ahead and attack here, and we can kind of like fix our draw. Okay, Clarion Conqueror. Would I like that? What does that do for us? It doesn't actually do anything for us. I don't think. It blocks in the air. It's better than Elite Spellbinder. Oh, we probably will have to use. I think we're looking for Solitude at this point. Are we looking for Solitude? We might be looking for another Seasoned Engineer. Because we just don't think that actually does anything for us. None of their cards have activated abilities other than the LED. They're never going to take another Organic Draw unless maybe if they found LED on the top right now. Well, I mean, they are going to break through, but they're not going to actually keep any of the cards. Let's go ahead and put that in the yard. We come in for our hug. So I think it's probably going to be Touch the Spirit Realm, just removing this Ox. But like, I don't even think we're going to survive this turn, unfortunately. Next turn, we can buff this twice. I don't think they have any removal. And we'll be able to hit them for a lot, but it's not going to be enough. If they only play one creature, let's say they just play Ox and they pass, then we could touch it out of the way, keep the initiative, but they're almost certainly going to dump some stuff into the graveyard. But like we still get the initiative. They're not going to take the initiative this turn unless they find Anger. Therapy is fine. They don't know our hand, so they're just guessing here. Probably naming Solitude. They named Dungeoneer. Okay. Yeah, I guess they're afraid that we do find the other Dungeoneer, but we would actually need a burst of mana to be able to use it. Our hand's not great. So here comes Ox. They don't actually have any other dredgers. They can't cast Breakthrough here. Because, yeah, there's Ox. So when this enters, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. Okay, so they do have one dredger that we know of, and they probably have more. Okay, so I see one dredger. Okay, how many dredges? There's a Narco. Okay, and they found because they filled up their hand. They've got Narcos. I don't care about them taking the initiative. This has haste? I didn't know it had haste. It's because of Anger in the yard. Okay, here comes Poxwalkers. They're going to take our Touch the Spirit Realm probably. All their creatures have haste, so they can swing in. We can block, of course, but we can't block those Narcos. So they will get the initiative. So we're not going to be able to buff pre-combat, unfortunately. I will swing in with this just because of Vigilance. This has Death Touch, right? Yeah. But this is protection from everything. So, okay, they took our creature. Next turn, they can Golgari Grave Troll. I don't have a lot of hope for winning this one. Oh, they're just going to bring Ox right back, and they get another Dredge. Yeah, this is not good. And they'll probably find some more bridges. We might just die this turn. It being a 4-2 means that They can Dread Return again and bring back Sawataru, or is he in the deck? Probably. Okay, they're going to take our touch now. Yeah, there's no way we're winning this, but we will see the rest of their deck. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, but they've got like nearly 20 power on the table right now. So we have Witch Enchanter, which doesn't do anything against their deck. It's basically a land. Okay, and now they're going to have even more. Yeah, this is, I believe, lethal. Yeah, I'm comfortable conceding here. Okay, sideboard. We're just going to mull until we hit Leyline, frankly. That is the strategy against them. Then Trinisphere does like basically stop them from ever doing anything. I think it's worth playing that. Wrath of the Skies can sweep up a lot of stuff. I do think Chalice for 1 is good. Chalice for 0 was good. Cards that we don't need. I don't actually know that Solitude is very good here. We could take that out. Like, if they get even one creature on the table, it's usually the end of the game because they're doing all that stuff. Clarion Conqueror, does this stop anything? It stops LED. I believe that's it. None of the creatures have activated the ability. I'm tempted to take it out. Boromir does stop lots of stuff that cost 0 mana. Wrath, obviously very powerful if we get it, but like they win the same turn, they put a bunch of stuff out. Like they just have lands and then suddenly they have everything. So I don't think that's the correct play. If we're going to be chalicing for 1, do we want to bring this in? No. I think we probably just bring in these again. Who knows? It might be kind of good. Like if they are in a top deck situation, it shuts off LED. They only have 4 LED, but they have a lot of 1 mana value cards like Faithless Looting and the Glimpse thing. And it doesn't really matter that much. Like, frankly, we're just going to mull until we have a leyline. That's how you play these games. Please give us an opening leyline. We did not get a leyline. This is a mulligan. This is a turn 1 conquer. It's not good enough. I'm going to mulligan. They're mulliganing too. They're going to mulligan to their, anti-river stuff. We will keep mulling. I'm not going to lose my nerve. I know they're going to be able to clear it. Hopefully it costs them dearly to clear it. The odds of us mulling all the way to nothing are extremely low. But it has happened. And now our opponent can be very confident that we're mulling to leyline. The odds of us mulling to 0 are very low. There we go. Okay. So we leyline. And I think we chalice. We get to keep 2 cards. What are those cards? I think it's got to be Ancient Tomb and leyline. I'm not going to keep the chalice. And the reason I'm not going to keep the chalice is like we need land to do really anything. Once we have this leyline out, they will eventually find an answer. That's extremely unlucky. You have a 40% chance of finding leyline in any given 7-card hand, but don't be afraid to do what I just did. Like we're probably almost certainly going to lose this game, but that's just life. LED, Otherworldly Gaze. So they're just digging for their answer now. So this is kind of like a ponder, like a brainstorm kind of, but they can clear. They dumped everything in their grave, so I don't think they have an answer yet. That's the good news. All right, we drew a land. That's good. I'll play the land out. And now we're going to eventually draw into something that does something here. They're just going to draw a bunch of cards that don't do anything unless they have the answer. Narcomoeba with a hard cast. Yeah, that's fine. That could get there. I think it's unlikely now that we have land. We're drawing live to a lot of things. Let's play this other planes out. We'll pass. Again, like, I don't think there's anything that disrupts non-basic lands, but I don't want to find out. Unmask. That's fine. So down to 2 cards. Pitching a bridge from blue. They're going to attack for 1. Again, like, the odds of us having to mull is low. It's like maybe like 5%, 10% that we had to mull as low as we did. All right. And now we've got a threat. We've also shut off their LED. I don't know that they have anything to remove this. All right. Mull until you find the ley line. Don't be afraid. We're going to do the same thing over and again. I'm not changing a damn thing. Am I changing a damn thing? I think Clarion Conqueror might actually be... No, it's not better than Boromir. I think it's probably better than Elite Spellbinder, though. Because it's like 3 toughness. And it doesn't... Like, this is actually one of the worst cards on our deck right now. We could bring in Disruptor Flute. We're on the draw, though. Okay, this is a leyline hand. We just keep it. We keep it and we thank our lucky stars that we get to keep it. So they know we're playing leyline. They probably could have presumed that we were playing leyline. LED. Yeah, that gets on underneath the... so if I draw a land, I am most definitely going to Chalice for 1. Let's see. Shenanigans, I think, is 2. So he's playing Into the Floodmaw as his main bounce. But I don't know if this is the exact list. It looks like it's... So I think if we just name Into the Floodmaw here, we go for 1, and I don't know that he can still answer it. He has Echoing Truth, which can do it. And then we'll just chill and eventually find... Before he finds Echoing Truth, do you have Into the Floodmaw right now? If you do, you win. I don't think he would hesitate if he had it. Yeah, he had it. Oh no, we're screwed. We're screwed. Okay. Yeah, we have a fish. He can dump his hand and like even though like he has all the enabler he needs in LED. Yeah, it's just unfortunate luck. Yeah, we're unlikely to draw anything else that does anything. I'm just going to attack for 1 and be pathetic because that's how this rolls. Like he had the answer. There was no window where we could have avoided what he did. We were on the draw. If we were on the play, maybe. He may not have what he needs though. He might hardcast like a creature here. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we have a fish. If we magically drew like Petal, I wouldn't wait. Sadly, I think we just need to hang back so we can trade. Yeah, we can't do anything. We're like completely disabled here. This is a tough matchup for sure for a fair deck. If there's any upside, is that our opponent has been drawing a lot of lands. If they swing in, I'll swing in. We do want to do damage to them. Time is not on our side. Oh, so they had Echoing Truth too? Okay, so now they can just answer it. I am ready to concede. Just show me. Okay, let's see what... I mean, they can just... I think we're done. I don't hold out any hope of winning this game. Yeah, I mean, he needed to find one of his 5 outs, and he did. All right, we're up against IWouldLikeToRespond, one of my favorite deck brewers. They are playing a... They're most likely playing the deck they were playing yesterday, which is like a really big mana deck. I think we just keep this. There, it is a slow deck. Clarion Conqueror should be good against it, and then we get the... They don't have a lot of creatures, so I think Dungeoneer will get some work done. They are on the play, of course, like this entire day. I think I've been on the play 1 time. I think against Mafu's Mango. I can't remember actually if I was on the play. Okay, so it's basically a blue Cloud Post deck, interestingly. We don't have anything that interacts with Cloud Post, unfortunately. So I'm just going to open Plains because I don't want to give away really anything I'm doing, and that doesn't give away a lot. Urza's Tower, okay. So they've got... Okay, that's fine. So they don't actually have 2 mana, so we're going to lock this. Conqueror should lock that down. Now, there's still a lot of things they can do. They have K command in their deck. They would need some mana to use it. They're just K commanding for... Yeah, that's fine. Just cantripping. I love it. That's so good for us. All right, now we're going to introduce the initiative and really wreck them is the goal. The other option is, of course, is we could Witch Enchanter to kill this. Since they're on the ropes, I think it's an initiative, though. They may very well have a force here. It's just in? Okay. I will get my island, or my plains, rather. And then I will come in for 3 in the air. And let's hope that they keep whiffing on lands. I mean, they didn't whiff on lands, technically. But they didn't have, like, Planar Nexus, which is what they really need. 2 mana doesn't do a lot in their deck. It'll be interesting to see what they do here. Another just draw. Yeah, that's fine. Wow. And they had so... Like, if they had had the mana, they could have completely wrecked us. We got lucky. Okay, so here... Wrath. I mean, Wrath isn't really that great against them. Disruptor Flute's... No, they get so much mana. It can shut down One Ring, but we're already shutting down One Ring. I don't think we... Well, they don't have a lot of creatures, so that's worth noting. Touch the Spirit Realm can get stuff out of the way. Boromir countering forces is relevant. I think a lot of these are relevant. The least relevant is probably Solitude. Chalice is pretty dead. Yeah, they have like a smorgasbord of mana values. I don't think we bring in Chalice. So we can bring in... I I think we bring in the Wraths. And just in case they have like an Urza Saga or something, we can clean that up. And then maybe one Disruptor Flute. Again, I'm not optimistic that it'll do a lot, but it's better than Chalice, which doesn't do anything. So now they know what we're on. Let's take a look at this hand. I don't think there's no way there's a keep. It's not enough mana. This also suffers from the not enough mana. Yeah, we're going to mulligan. They started, okay, this is fine. So I'll just keep, and I'm going to put back these 2 planes. And depending on how they start, I mean, Spellbinder really doesn't do much to slow them down. I might want to keep the second planes. I need to be able to rebuild after I Clarion Conqueror. Yeah, it's super awkward because I want a Dungeoneer, but Dungeoneer costs more than Clarion Conqueror, and I'll have lost my land by then. And this Spellbinder just doesn't do enough. Like, you can name like a blue card, and then they don't have Force of Will online. I think I put back Dungeoneer. They do have Shark Typhoon, which can create a dude that can take the initiative from us. So if they can somehow get rid of our creature with like K command, I don't know. I just can't get behind. I mean, I could just slow roll it. I feel like Clarion Conqueror could do some stuff though. Yeah, I'm going to put back this Spellbinder. Because like almost all their blockers are flyers anyway, and Seasoned Dungeoneer has built-in evasion. It's possible I draw like an Ancient Tomb, and then it's just not an issue. Okay, Expedition Map, that's really good. If we drew like a Lotus Petal here, that would be freaking dynamite. Okay, Witch Enchanter. So unfortunately, they are going to be able to get like the Planar Nexus and generate tons of mana. There's nothing we can do to stop that now. They're almost certainly going to use it immediately. Yeah, they already had it. I think we lose for sure. Stock up. That's fine. No, they got greedy. So I am going to lock this off. I don't think it'll be a big impact, but they could go use it to go get another tower. I do need the City of Traitors here. But they're going to have the mana to K command it out of the way if they find a K command, and I imagine they did. But I think it's like basically a forced play. Yeah, especially if we drew the second city, so we can still... It'll be a couple turns, but we can Dungeoneer. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm just going to hope that they somehow didn't find a K command to remove this. Because they're only 1 mana away from removing it. And they may already have a force. Yeah, they have the force. Okay, so we lose. I am very confident in us losing. Even if we drew another one, the damage will have already been done. We really needed to lock that off. Okay, they're using it. They're going to go get just another Urza Saga, or Urza's Tower, I bet. Or maybe an Urza Saga, depending on how they want to play it. But I would just get another Urza's Tower, and then they got another 4 mana, 5 mana technically, because they've got 1 floating still. These big mana decks, I don't like them. I don't care for them at all. Yeah, there's blue mana, so they're going to stock up again, maybe. They just create a bunch of mana and like hide behind the One Ring, and unfortunately our deck just can't interact with it meaningfully. Yeah, they would have been able to kill our creature anyway. So they're stacking their deck. And when I say I don't care for them, I think fundamentally they're just, it's not very interactive. It like tries to avoid being interactive. Like this is the most interactive version I've seen with the forces, but it's still not my cup of tea. There's nothing to blow up here. We can introduce the initiative. I think that's probably the best thing we can do here and hope they don't force it. There's a very good chance though that we're going to be facing, if this is not forced, yeah, like they can K command this out of the way. They have tons of card selection, tons of mana. They can just play that Ugin dude that like exiles this. They can't take the initiative with these because they don't do damage. If they play some sort of thing that we can blow up with Witch Enchanter, that would be nice. They've got 19 life though. 7 mana. Yeah, I don't want to play against this guy. This guy is so annoying. I wish they'd never printed him. Okay. Yeah, and they just, like these big mana decks, they just get inevitability. And again, I hope that doesn't sound sour or tilted or whatever, but like Disruptor, like there's nothing I could do. You can't even counter it even if you're a blue deck. So I guess the fact that I'm not a blue deck is kind of a blessing in the sense that like, it's kind of like something horrible happens and you know your grandma would be like incredibly disappointed to hear of this news, but luckily she's dead, so she doesn't have to hear about it. That's like kind of like how this deck feels. Well, like, oh, well, good thing I didn't have a counterspell because I wouldn't have been able to counterspell that anyway, and I would just be really sad. Okay, I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah, I don't think Chalice does anything. This is just kind of a blind spotter for our sideboard because we're so focused on beating combo that these types of decks kind of get under the radar. Okay, so this hand, Doesn't do it, unfortunately. Same with this hand. It's just we're getting bad variants on these hands. I don't think it's a deck design thing. I think we've got plenty of mana sources. This does have all the mana we need. Archon is pretty decent. I'm going to keep this, put back a land and a land, and we're just going to stop it too. Basically, we're just going to cast one spell every turn. Yeah. So Archon should do something to slow them down, but it's not going to be enough. Boromir, is that maybe actually better to lead with? No. I think we lead with Archon just because it's maximally annoying. Yeah, I think there's a decent chance they force it. Let's try this. It's in. That's good. They can only cast one spell per turn, but they only need to cast one spell per turn. Let's see if they have... Yeah, that's a lot of mana. 2 mana. Okay, Expedition Map. All right, so we really... I could just get rid of that. I think I probably have to, unfortunately, rather than playing Boromir. Yeah, it sucks, but this gives them access to so much mana if we don't get rid of it. Boromir doesn't do enough. And we can still hit him for 2. But they've got 4 mana. The One Ring is inevitable at this point. Solitude doesn't really do anything here, unfortunately. It's in the deck because we couldn't find anything. Yeah, and now they have 6 mana. There's the One Ring. I think we're very close to Scoop Land right now. That's their spell for turn. They can draw a card. If we drew the thing, it wouldn't even matter because they're going to be able to find K Command by activating that. Well, if we find it right now, Emperor. Okay, Elite Spellbinder. Probably more effectual than Boromir, but they have so much mana it doesn't even matter. I think I'm actually going to just Boromir here because it does at least shut off 0-drop mana. And we can use it to protect our Archon, which is not a big deal. And again, I'm further incentivized to just chill and not... But they can exile this and get this back later, which probably won't matter. Yeah, I shouldn't have even bothered attacking. That didn't do anything because they had protection. Okay. They've got 8 cards in hand. They've got 7 mana, 8 mana. They now have blue mana, so they can Shark Typhoon. Okay, they didn't do anything. So this tells me they probably just have Shark Typhoon. I can Solitude it as my 1 spell for the turn. Or I can give it Pro. I'm going to do that. So we're going to introduce the initiative, but it's not really going to matter if they Shark Typhoon. So they can try to force this, but it'll get countered. Hopefully they forget. But my opponent is extremely skilled. They're an extremely skilled control player. I'm kind of disappointed to see them playing this. Dress Down is super annoying. I can get a free Solitude here, which I probably want to do. It does take away the Archon ability. So we don't get the initiative. We still get the buff on our creatures though, which is not the end of the world. Are they going to force now? No, they can now force if they'd like to. They may just let it resolve. But with our mana the way it is, I think I just cast Solitude as a beater. It's very sad to do so, but I think it is correct. So that's 5 damage. Yeah, I mean, who knows when I'm going to draw another land. I'm just going to do this. All right, so the Dress Down dies. All they need is that Planeswalker, and they can easily win from here. They draw 3 cards. They're looking at 9 cards over there. I do not have any evasion. This was the evasion that I needed, the pro creature, so that I could attack through their thing. Yeah, I just refuse to play against this card. I know it may make for bad viewing experience, but I just don't care. That card is BS. Okay, let's go to the next round. This league is not going as well as the previous one, but I do think our deck is better than it was the previous one, and we're just getting some rough matchups. Swampy Swamp. All right, Turbo Doomsday player. We just Chalice for 0, and it becomes hard for them to win. We have Solitude as well, which could take out the Oracle at instant speed if we need to. I'm going to Snapkeep this on the strength of Chalice. This is one of the reasons you play Chalice. And even if they're not on it, Chalice is disruptive enough of the meta. Okay, so they're on a Karnforge deck maybe? Luckily, we have the card that solos Karnforge if they don't just win right now. Of course. Turn 1 Wandering. Luckily, again, we have Clarion Conqueror, and they have to have K Command. But they have 2 mana. they won't be able to K-command immediately. All right, Chalice for 0 actually might make sense here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Clarion Conqueror. Okay, good. They're not on the deck that also. So we'll just play this out for 0, I guess. I think it's better than nothing. It's not like we have Brainstorm in this deck to fix our draws. We could Chalice for 2 next turn. I don't think it's where we want to be. I'm just going to play this out. This shuts off like Petals, shuts off Mox. Okay, so they take 1. They can't activate it. They have 2 mana. They have potentially, yeah, they have potentially 3 mana now. But they do have Metalcraft for when they find one later. Okay, so we have double Solitude. We could go ahead and Witch Enchanter and kill one of these to take them off Metalcraft. I don't hate that. Yeah, I think we do that just in case. So I'm going to take a lot of damage in the process, unfortunately. And then we will still have Solitude, Pitch, Solitude. So let's play this. I'll pay the life. Witch Enchanter. We're going to blow up one of these monoliths just because we don't have any better targets. And we could have played this slower, but I really think that like getting them off Metalcraft might be relevant when they're this low on resources. If they find an Urza's Saga, we could still lose, unfortunately. The ring hits them for 1. Okay, they have 2 of these now. Another monolith. Okay, so now they do have mana. They have Metalcraft again. Okay, Anointed Peacekeeper is pretty cool. I think we go ahead and play them out, even though it hurts us. Let's take a look at their hand before we do anything. I'm hoping to name K-Command here. They may go ahead and cycle it in response. They do have K-Command. That's the only card we care about here. They can get a lot of mana off Nexus. Let's see. Nexus counts as an Urza land. They have so much mana. Like, I don't think K-Command, like, we can reduce it, but we're not going to be able to stop it. Gosh, they're going to be able to win with this freaking K-Command, aren't they? It's so frustrating. Yeah. Well, I'm going to name K-Command. And again, it's going to be meaningless because they're going to have so much freaking mana next turn. But maybe we can somehow race them after they remove this Clarion Conqueror. I don't think so. Because they have Metalcraft, so they have, once they play it, they'll have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's more than enough to pay the tax and exile our Clarion Conqueror and unlock the One Ring. We can attack for 5, maybe, but they'll probably create a bunch of dudes that block our stuff. They're not even bothering tapping the Tomb. Okay, that sucks. And I knew all along that was what they could do here. So they've got Chumpers. They can activate. I think the odds of us getting out of this are extremely low. The only thing we can do, really, is hope to draw another Clarion Conqueror. That would be really strong. I'm going to play this out. I'm going to... Oh, it gets countered. Duh. Okay, that was dumb. So we're not going to be able to Solitude here. I'm going to attack with both of these. Those block. Yeah, and they have plenty of mana next turn to win. And we just have to sit here because they had K-Command, which answers literally everything without ever having to add colored mana. What are they doing here? Okay, 2 mana floating. And then untapping Grand Monolith. Okay. They did pay life for that. So they are going to be low in life. They're not going to be able... They will be able to tap the Tomb. Yeah. And we will aggressively Solitude Blast their Spawn Generator, whatever his name is. But they're going to have so many cards. And they can just One Ring again. And then there's nothing we can do. Yeah, I mean, like, you can play Blood Moon against these types of decks. I think Moon Stompy might actually be a really good deck to play right now just because, yeah, I don't know. Like, I figured, like, we would sufficiently hate on their thing. Yeah, you've got another burst of 3 mana. There's Mystic Forge. We're so dead, it's not even funny. Like, they're technically dead to this One Ring, but there's 0 probability that they don't find another One Ring. This happens. That gets countered. Maybe that was intentional. They could have held it until they found Paradox Engine. Untap, they One Ring again. They don't have any keys, but they can't play keys either. Yeah, it gets countered. Still Chalice out. But it does buff the Tezzeret. So I think they're doing that on purpose. Okay, there's Karn. Karn could animate One Ring. They pay 1 life. Okay, there's the mana that they need for One Ring. Another Grim Monolith. Okay, that buffs Karn further. But I don't think it matters because didn't they already use his ability? Key gets countered. That buffs him further. Wait, it's when it enters play, right? Oh, so they can do this. They can go search for a key with this. And it's really boring to watch your opponent. Like, okay, did you find your win? There's the mana. I'm sorry, I'm not doing anything to like liven this up. I'm just so tilted that this is the meta. This is Legacy now, unfortunately. Like, I can deal with Blue Black Reanimator being completely broken, but this is so boring. Oops, all spells, it's over quickly. This is not over quickly. This is the Ulamog guy. Oh, there's a K command. They're going to stack their deck. Okay, they have 2 mana. No, they have lots of mana. So with this on the stack, I could have responded. No, I didn't have a chance to respond and like hit one of the spawns. They would have just sacked anyway. So they have the 4 mana. They just need to find the One Ring. They bottomed all, so maybe they didn't find the One Ring. Are we just going to get really lucky here? I'll take it. They are minusing. You have a One Ring in your exile. This is kind of like the argument against Grief. The argument against K command, like you have the one card that locks down their entire deck, but like they just kill it with like this universal like utility card. They can't do that with Null Rod. So it is worth noting that like this deck, we could just put Null Rod in and not play the creature that shuts down all the planeswalkers. They can win around Null Rod. They like animate it and then they kill it with K command, of course. But it is a little bit of extra work. So cards that are coming in, Wrath of the Skies for sure. This is the matchup for it. I think Disruptor Flute comes in. Trinisphere, I think it's going to hurt us as much as it hurts them probably. Chalice doesn't really do a lot, but Chalice on 1 did stop their keys, and that might have actually been a difference maker. I think those are the only 1 mana cards in their entire deck though. Chalice on 0 is not worth doing generally. Touch the Spirit Realm is pretty mediocre. Like you can exile their One Ring, but they've already gotten protection and like gotten value out of it. Elite Spellbinder is just so non-consequential. Like making their spell cost 2 more when they have like 8 mana out is just, it's a joke. If we're bringing in the Wrath though, we might take out the Chalice. I think that's what I'm going to do here. I don't think Trinisphere is good enough. Leave a comment with a timestamp if you feel strongly that like I should keep Chalice in, but my instinct is it's not good enough. Like their curve is so variegated that this is really against like blue decks. Or in Dredge. That was very good against Dredge. It would have been really good against Dredge if they hadn't had the answer. They actually had double covered answers in that Dredge matchup, by the way. Archon is good. Conqueror is obviously the best. Boromir does stop 0 drops. Witch Enchanter is good. Solitude is not that great. We could cut maybe 2 of them. There's only 1 target in their entire deck. We can also hit it with Touch. I think Touch is more flexible because you can protect our stuff. Like they try to exile with Karnforge and we can bounce our dude or flicker our dude. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so this is a slow hand. And I don't think we can do slow hands, frankly, especially not on the draw. I think we need some acceleration. Let's mulligan this. Oh, this is a Peacekeeper, Boromir. I think we put back the Wrath and hope to draw 1 later. But we don't have the mana to cast it. So I'm going to go turn 1, Flute. Turn 2, Boromir. Turn 3, Peacekeeper. Maybe turn 2. Yeah. I mean, we don't have any information to act on with Flute. So I'll just wait and do it at instant speed. If we look at their hand with Peacekeeper, it gives us better insight. So that is an argument for Peacekeeping next turn. I think our hand's fine though. I'm just going to wait and see what they do. If they put 1 ring on the stack, then I'll just I'll name 1 ring. All right, so let's do this. We are going to name the One Ring. Let's name that. That is one huge advantage that this has over Pithing Needle is the ability to name the ability on the stack. Okay, so that's in. They don't necessarily have good answers for artifacts in their deck. All right, so I do think Peacekeeper is where we want to start. And then we have Boromir. If they had 0 drops, they probably would have played them by now. Okay, their hand is... So, ability... They've got Urza Saga going. We can blow it up next turn with Witch Enchanter. I think we just take Grim Monolith here because, I mean, they already have so much mana. But it like not only makes it more difficult to cast, but like activate as well. Unless they're animated a mana ability. So they can still activate it, but it does, like untapping it Takes 2 more, but they're going to be using the thing. It kind of sucks. I mean, I could just name K Command, but again, they're going to have tons of mana. I think we name Grim Monolith, though. And then they just pay 4 mana to play it out. And they could easily do that. I think, did we name Urza Saga? We're going to blow up the Urza Saga. I'm going to name the Grim Monolith. I'm trying to think. We could name a card they don't have, but the 2 mana is just not consequential. I'm going to name Grim Monolith. Okay. And we're on board. We're beating for 3. Okay. That's fine. So again, we'll blow that up next turn. They're going to play the Monolith now, which makes sense. I mean, just pay the extra mana. Again, it might come up later that it matters, but Soul Guide Lantern, that we were never going to care about that. It doesn't do anything. It's just a card draw. Okay, they did draw a petal, so had I played Boromir, it actually would have been better, but we didn't know that at the time. All right, so let's go ahead and just blow up their Saga. This card is so good. So flexible. And just like that, you have no win con. Take 3. We have lots of things to do over the next few turns. The saddest One Ring, sitting there with no burden counters, is like, doesn't anybody want me? Okay. Exile their graveyard. They get another Planar Nexus. It's a lot of mana. Fleshraker. All right, and they are hellbent. If I draw a White Source, then I may just cast this instead of pitching it. It may come up. Right, so I can just pay to cast it, and then I have a creature on board. Alternatively, yeah, I can't Solitude and Boromir. Yeah, I'm just going to cast it. I don't care about my own life title. It shouldn't matter. It will matter if they find several of these. So you gain 2. Congratulations. Now you take 5. Yeah, I think slow and steady's fine here. I don't know. Maybe that was actually wrong because the game's not going to go that much longer. But like being able to gain life is also nice. Just because we have done a lot of damage to ourselves. Because we do kind of want to put ourselves out of reach. They have a K command here. They're waiting in my upkeep. Okay, good. I mean, we could technically do 2 things here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play the Boromir first. Then I'm going to play another Anointed Peacekeeper. Manifold Key. Let's go ahead and make that cost more to activate. Just to annoy them throughout the rest of the game. Okay. Let's go in for a lot. They're dead on board. They're going to need something good here. Disruptor Flute won us this game 100%. That is very good data. Okay, we won the match. Finally, Cold Streak broken. Beating Karnforge, the deck that we basically built our deck to beat. Round 4. We are 1-2 in this league, but we went 4-1 in the other one. So our deck does have legs. I have to hasten to remind. This hand is pretty freaking solid. We're on the play. Amazing. They could have... I mean, we don't have a second White Source, so we need to make this count. I think Clarion Conqueror is just like the more flexible of these. But Emeria is like a total pain for our opponents. If they force, I'll be so sad. I think we do keep this, though, because this is a turn 1 play, and then we have Solitude to remove their threat. They don't have any MTGO history for Legacy, but they do play Eldrazi sometimes, which makes me think maybe they're on Eldrazi. Archon, how badly does Archon mess up Eldrazi? Worse than Clarion does, I think. Yeah, I'm going to keep, and I think I'm just going to open Clarion, or open Archon, and then I'm going to hope that we find a land. The other advantage to this is if we do draw another petal, we'll actually be able to use it, whereas Clarion will shut off our petal. This is like pretty much all in, though. I don't like to play this kind of Magic, but Glass Cannon, fire! Okay, we're in. That's a relief. We have a lot of mana sources in our deck. I think we've got like 23 more. Or 21 more. So I think we're likely to draw one. Because that fetch, that's so vindicating. Chalice of the Void, we could Chalice on 2. I'm kind of here for it. Like that's got it. Well, let's just Chalice on 1. Chill. We might draw another Chalice and then we can Chalice on 2. They can't daze us here. We still don't know what they're on, but they scoop to that. I love it. All right, we have no idea how to board. I don't think we board. I mean, like, they showed us black. in red. Like red doesn't generally play fetches, so it's almost certainly a black deck. But they scooped a Chalice. They may be on Reanimator. I'm not going to bring in Leyline speculatively. I think we just run it back. I think bringing in Leylines speculatively is really bad. It's not even that great against Reanimator. It's just good. I think it is something you want to bring in if you know you're up against like blue-black Reanimator. If you're up against like straight Reanimator, then yeah, you want to definitely stop. Okay, this is a good hand. This is another turn 1 Archon. Or probably... Yeah, I think turn 1 Archon. We'll get more information on what their deck's doing. If they're a Daze deck, then we can play at the pedal, and then we can Chalice them. And then we can Dungeoneer turn 2. That might work. Don't Thoughtseize me. Okay, Bobble. So they're on Tempo, maybe? Or Black Saga Swarm? One of those two. I don't think you should be playing this in your Bobble. In your okay, there's the Thoughtseize. So this probably takes Chalice. But like I could see taking Season Dungeoneer and Reanimate Dungeoneer, that'd be nightmarish. I think they're on just mono black. I'm not sure. They took our Chalice though. They get a card. They don't have Daze up. So we can Archon now, and then next turn we can Peacekeeper. I like that because it messes up, like if they're Black Saga Storm or something like that, which is a possibility. Yeah, so I'm going to play this out. And I mean, I could play slowly, but there's no way I'm playing slowly. Like our opponent's already gone pretty low on well, they redrew. Let's do this again. See if this matters. I mean, if it could be that this is like both of these cards are just so backbreaking that they were forced to choose Chalice there. But like if they are on some sort of like Black Saga Storm, all we have to worry about is Urza Saga now. And I'll anoint a Peacekeeper naming Urza Saga so they can't create the constructs. They have another swamp. Okay, I think they're just on Reanimator. I think this is Entomb Reanimate. Thoughtseize again. That's fine. Do some more damage to yourself. That's your spell for the turn. And they scoop. All right, that's how we roll. Man, am I going to do a third league? Triple league? I don't know. These games are going very fast. I have to take my kids swimming in about an hour. But I want to get as many in as I can. I love this. This is fun. It's fun when you're not playing against when you're not playing against Karnforge. It doesn't really matter what deck you're playing. If you're up against Karnforge, you're not having fun. Final round. Our opponent is an enjoyer of Nadu. They have already mulliganed. I think we want to get Solitude and we want to get... we want something faster than this. So I'm going to mulligan. But if they're on Nadu, they do potentially have access. Yeah, this isn't good enough. I think we mulligan again. These are like the weakest creatures in our deck. These are the substitutes, the replacements that we call in like when like the starters are all winded. We can do better than this. I do think we mulligan one more time. This deck mulligans pretty well. Oh, I don't think Chalice for 1 is going to do it. But this is a Conqueror hand with a second mana source. It feels bad. It feels really bad. If they have... I mean, we technically have 3 mana to cast Conqueror. I'm going to keep and hope they don't have a Plow. That seems like a very silly thing to hope for, to hold out hope for. I'm going to put away the Chalice. I think it's... we would have to draw... Like let's say hypothetically we just never drew another land. I think we need to put back Boromir and Touch. And now we have Chalice and then we have Conqueror. I mean, Touch could remove something. It's a lot of mana. Yeah, and if they're on Nadu, Conqueror is going to be really strong. Okay, Tomb. Okay. So they're on some sort of Stompy deck themselves. This could be Moon Stompy. So Chalice is going to suck. In other words, yeah, Moon Stompy. That's fine. This doesn't affect us really. Everything in our deck is like 1 white mana. So we have that. Touch the Spirit Realm. I mean, they have 0 drops in their deck. I could just play this out as a land and hide the fact that I have planes. It comes in untapped. Yeah, I'll just play it out. All right, it's a mountain. So if they always have more. Fable. Yeah, we can't do anything about that. But Clarion Conqueror shuts off some of their deck. It'll shut off the clues that they can, or the treasures they can create. They're down to 1 card. I could just touch this to just get it gone. That might actually be the right thing to do. I don't think Chalice for 1 does anything against their deck. I think Chalice for 1 is a trap. It's possible they have 0 drop. Once the Clarion Conqueror comes out, this is immobile. They won't be able to activate this. This will just be a dumb 2/2 once it flips. Yeah, I'm just going to chill. Well, let's see. They have enough 1-drops. I'm going to play this for 0. There's no way I'm going to ever play it for 3. And it does a lot more to their deck than it does to mine. Like it counters Mox. It counters Petal. I think that's it. But it should keep them from having a really explosive turn right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and touch this. Bye-bye. They could have Fury going on over there. That would be annoying for sure. Okay, this Pyro. Oh, the One Ring. Well, that's fine. They're going to use it once. But if they use it to find Fury, I'm going to be very sad. Okay, so you get your thing back. It doesn't come back. It's really a 2-mana uncounterable. Okay, this hurts us, but it doesn't hurt us that bad. All right, your move. They are going to be able to race us here. But the One Ring helps a little bit. Look at the dude. If they have like just a Fury, the game's over. Love Spur, that does not do anything, thankfully. They don't have good attacks. Perfect. Chalice doesn't do anything. We can't even cast it. We can Witch Enchanter. Let's see, if we attack, they're winning the race, but I want to get them low. Yeah, I'm going to attack. I don't think hanging back favors us. We could Chalice for 1. I'm pretty sure their deck doesn't have any 1-drops in it, but ours definitely doesn't have any. Yeah, I'll just do that. I don't think this matters. But obviously they have like Urza Saga targets, so maybe they have like something that they can't play because of this. I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. Okay, they play a land. They attack for 4. That's fine. Again, we're okay with these kinds of exchanges. We want an initiative creature. That would be good. Touch. So we can just touch this out of play and leave them with these. I don't care about that. Yeah, I'm going to just touch the this out of play. If they can clear it, which red is not famous for being able to clear enchantments, then they get the entire saga again, but I don't think they'll be able to. So we're waiting for like a Pyrogoyf to enter and we're dead. No, Pyrogoyf is not big enough. It's just 2 enchantments in the graveyard. I love doing Stompy on Stompy and not having it. I'm glad I didn't like ever cast this. They might like cast something just to get something on there. So we're winning the race. That One Ring is doing 1 to them, and then we're doing 3 with our dude. Please don't find a Fury. They don't have the mana to hard cast Fury. Okay, that gets us Witch Enchanter, which will just blow away probably the Mox. Let's say hypothetically they removed the Clarion Conqueror. This would actually be a bigger pain because it could give like Hasty Fury. Hasty Fury sounds like a sequel to Kung Fury, which is not a very good movie, but oh no, I put a type in the yard. Now I could potentially get got if they have something else to put out. Oh, I should have freaking waited, shouldn't I have? No, they're going to be dead. This doesn't ever go up, so they'll never be able to use it. I'll play this out. I'm just going to attack in the air. There's no reason to attack with the other one. They're dead in 2 turns anyway to their own One Ring. And if they want to attack me with Magus, that's fine. So like, I don't think they can do anything unless they have like Pyrogoyf into Pyrogoyf and some magical thing. And even then, there's not enough stuff in the yard. So yeah, feel really good playing all my basic planes. Take that, people who are like, oh, you should put Karakas in your deck. Oh, you should put blah, 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 blah. Okay, Shatter Skull Smashing. Well, I mean, that's a good card. You can One Ring now, but you need to find enough mana to cast a One Ring. Ancient Tomb. Okay. Oh, that would have been such a devastating thing if they'd like had like a Spirit Guide and One Ring. All right. Okay, I want to get a positive record. Let's bring in the Disruptor Flute. That was pretty good against One Ring, huh? Wrath of the Skies. Not a bad card. For Plow, I hear that's good against red decks. Now the cards that are coming out are going to be Chalice of the Void for sure. That card does nothing here. Clarion Conqueror soloed them. Archon, I think it's okay. It's probably still worth keeping in. Witch Enchanter is very good against them. I don't want to take out my Petals because they're part of my mana base. I mean, this is a lot to be bringing in. Disruptor Flute. Let's say we don't bring in, and we just hope to kill him with, what are we doing here? Elite Spellbinder probably doesn't do anything. I mean, it is like a 3/1 that has evasion. This card kind of sucks, but it can like remove. I mean, it does remove. It was pretty good there, actually. It might have been really important to survival. But I mean, we're already kind of killing all those things with Wrath. They're going to be taking out all their Blood Moon type effects, I bet. So Wrath will be even better. They have tons of attackers. It could be dangerous to introduce this, but I think we can overpower them if we get to the mana. It's not clear to me what we cut. If we just cut these touches, then we have a nice clean line. They have Shatter Skull Smashing. They have Pyroglyph. They've got lots of stuff that can potentially kill our dudes, though. Boromir seems pretty good. You can keep our stuff alive. I think I'm going to take out the touches since we're bringing in Plow, which is more mana efficient. They're almost certainly going to take out their chalices. And then we have Plow. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so we're experimenting, but we have tons of removal, and I think that's important. I am worried about the One Ring, though. We're on the draw. I don't think this is good enough. This is turn 2, blow up something that they're doing over there. I think we can do better. Let's mull. Let's use that power of the Lana Mulligan. This is not enough mana, unfortunately. I think we have to mull this. I'm not going to count on drawing a mana. Our opponent is mulling to 5 as well. Okay, this is Wrath. I think this is the keep. So we go land, then we go City of Traitors, Wrath everything. Yeah, and we can even stick, so we could actually go land, Archon, or land Anointed Peacekeeper. So we're going to keep here. I'm going to pitch one of these. Gosh, we have to choose between these two. I think Peacekeeper's probably better than Archon. It's tough. I mean, the fact that Archon Peacekeeper has Vigilance, it does 3 damage. I think it's probably the card here. And I would like to put back some of these lands, but we need that burst of mana. All right, we're going to hope to rip some fire, some elemental action. Oh, this is going to be great. I cannot wait to blow all that away. That's a good rip. So start with our planes. We'll pass. Next turn, we've got City of Traitors into Peacekeeper. And they'll be like, oh, why didn't you name Urza Saga? Well, because all your constructs belong to us. Feel free to do some damage on the way out. All right. Yeah, I don't think they have anything that can disrupt our hand. Oh, wow. That's cool. I don't think it helps us, unfortunately. I'm going to take a look at their hand, and then I might play out the pedal as well. I mean, I could technically hold the planes and just, wrath off the pedal. They'll probably have a 1-drop, though. Yeah, that might make sense, because then we have more mana online. Okay, they're using the Urza Saga ability. All right, let's take a look at that hand. Do you have a One Ring in there? You do. And they have freaking Broadside. Don't care for that one bit. They don't have a red. Oh, wait, they do have red. Oh, my goodness. This is tough. So next turn, they can One Ring. If we name One Ring, then they just Broadside Bombardier and throw something at us. That sucks. Shatter Skull Smashing costs a lot of mana to kill this thing. So, okay. So here's what I do. I name One Ring. They Broadside. I just freaking pedal, plow that thing. Yeah, and then we'll blow up their board. They might get like a Mox too that we can get. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and name One Ring. Usually a safe thing to name here. And I think Wizards knew exactly what they were doing when they printed it. That they were creating a must counter, must stop spell. All right. Now we'll just pass. It'll be interesting to see whether they go ahead and Saga or if they... I'm hoping that they put more resources. No, they're not putting more resources. That's fine. Go get a Mox. Lava Spur. Well, that is going to do some damage. They're shocking in. Okay, yeah, I'll take some damage. That's fine. Do I want to just plow this? I feel like we should hold the plow because they are going to have the mana to throw the dude out even though they don't have anything to do with him. I know what I'll do. Next turn, I will Wrath for 1, and then I'll just play at the plains, and then I'll have plow up. And I can Wrath with this and keep a plow up. I'll just... do I want to take 7 here? I think it's fine. Yeah, I don't want to... Yeah, I'm not going to use the plow. It's too important. Their hand is One Ring, Simian Spirit Guide. Yeah, we know their exact hand. right? This is out, so we don't know their exact hand. Okay. They're going to come in for 7. They're trying to clock us, which is normally a good strategy, but... So let's untap. Let's see what we draw. And that's good. That's really good. We can't wait, though. I mean, it shuts off the activated ability of both the One Ring and Broadside. They might be able to beat us down. Let's see. If we wipe all their stuff, they could potentially... Yeah, I think we just have to be patient here, is my instinct. White. White. Now we will Wrath. We're going to add 2 energy, but we're only going to need 1. So let's Wrath for 1 here. Your board is gone. I will play a Plains here, even though I don't want to, because I respect your ability to do stuff with Broadside Bombardiers. We'll swing for 3 here, and we'll pass. They are going to pay 2 life when they tap this tomb, most likely. Fury would still be extremely good. All right. Broadside. Okay. I'm going to set a stop during combat just to make sure that they don't get to do anything else before. So this is begin combat. We're going to plow. Bye-bye. You get 2 life. You get back the life you paid on the tomb. Okay. Now their hand is Spirit Guide, One Ring. I feel like this is a pretty favorable matchup. Fury! They had it! They had it. Okay, so now we need a land or we're screwed by One Ring. Because they do have One Ring next turn, and we just lose. That sucks. Oh, wait. They pitched the Spirit Guide. So they have 1 card, 1 unknown, and 1 ring. But like anything, we just need a white source or a land, any land. Okay, that's not what we're looking for. We have no choice but to chill and hope that they do not have it. If they have it, they have it. So the good news is they're really low in life. And we weren't going to apply any pressure anyway. So they're going to tap. They're going to get a card. We could still find a land deck. We could still find a land. Come on, give us a land. Or a peddler, like anything. One of like 20 plus cards we have in our deck. Oh no! We're going to lose. We're going to lose. We have Plow to keep us alive from like if they... Yeah, if this is Broadside, I'll just kill it. Pyrogoyf hitting us for 6 is... Let's see. Whatever this creature... I'm just going to let it happen and hope that they can't kill us before this One Ring kills them because they're going to take 2 hits from it. If they have another one, though, we are in serious trouble. Oh, you're killing me, deck. Okay. They can't tap these. They're going to take 1 damage now. They get an attack. They do activate it. Do you have the damage? Unfortunately, this has to be plowed or we're dead. So I think we just lost the game. They'll take 2, but that's survival. Yeah, so they're 3. So we need a blocker and we need for them to whiff. Clarion Conqueror would be great because it would stop them from being able to draw to another answer, but they could just draw to an answer. Solitude is not good because it does keep us alive, but it gives them a bunch of life. So sad. Yeah, that was a very close game. All right, let's go to game 3. Wow. Oh, that Fury. That Fury was strong. I don't think we make any changes. Plow was instrumental to our survival there. We'll be on the play. Okay, this is actually a keepable hand for once. So we just play out the Plains, then we have Plow, and then we have Clarion Conqueror. And Boromir might actually be the card we play before we play Clarion Conqueror, just because Boromir can protect Clarion Conqueror. Yeah, and I do believe Clarion Conqueror is going to be important in this matchup. They rolled a 6. We were so close to beating them last game. But let's stay focused on this game. And not get all wistful. That never is a recipe for victory. Yeah, this is a pretty good hand. Like, I mean, they win through creatures, so come on. You know you want to just eat that thing out there. Really? That's still in your deck? Okay, sure. I can't believe that's in your deck. If you see Chalice in your opponent's deck, board out Chalice. But like they know that I boarded in Plow, I guess. But yeah. Okay, so I think we just start with Boromir. That shuts off Fury. And then we have Clarion Conqueror after that. Like if they invest in a one ring, they get one card out, and then we get Clarion. That's pretty good. Ancient Tomb Showdown. These pissed off ancestors, they're like dealing so much damage to us, but we're loving it. They're like, curse you! Why did you disturb our tomb? Okay, what is this? Broadside. Well, there's a very good chance that this throws a chalice at my dude. Yep. And then that is going to fortunately unlock my stuff. Do you want to throw a chalice at my dude? No. Okay, that's great for me. Now you can't throw chalice at my dude. We can just wrath that away. I'll wait a turn. I'm going to play this out just in case like they clear it somehow. Yeah, we want the Conqueror out for sure. Now we attack for 3. We're winning the race. This having haste is very nice. They can't Fury. They can't activate Bombardier. They can't attack, and I can double block if you'd like to do that. And if you would like to throw the chalice, which you can't throw, but if somehow you clear Clarion Conqueror and would like to throw the chalice, currently Pyroglyph is a 0-1. Love to see it. You don't want to attack. You are freaking crazy. I think you're crazy. I'm trying to think of how this goes wrong for me. I can always regenerate Clarion Conqueror if necessary. I think my opponent just punted hard. You cannot activate abilities. Urza Saga, sure. Is this... What is this? They have like Dead Gone or something? Stomp? The damage can't be prevented. Oh, that's... So you didn't punt. How much damage is on this? It's 2 already. Yeah, that sucks. So this Wrath blows that up, I believe. And I don't necessarily need to wait to give them time to input. Yeah, I think I just Wrath next turn. If I draw a white source, I can also play Archon. That would be insane. Huh. Unfortunately, I can't both Wrath and play Archon. This is a good creature for sure. Yeah, that's a cool card. It'll be big. It'll be scary. They'll be low on life. So I think it does make sense to just Wrath here. Get rid of these. I'll play my land for turn. They can play this out. It's a 3-drop. I'm not going to... Yeah. I'll Wrath and then next turn I can plow it. It does do damage to me, I believe. What does it say? Let's see. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell, deal 2 damage to the spell. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm going to go ahead and just Wrath. Buy land. I hope I'm not misplaying here by being so aggressive about it because I could have had them invest, but yeah. I just want to get my chalice out of the way so I can start plowing next turn. And I will plow if it means taking 2 damage. I'm no stranger to taking 2 damage. They shock to 3. Okay, wow. What do you have? This could be Pyro. Fiery Confluence. They are going all in on killing our Boromir. That's fine. I've got an Archon. They're at 2. I don't even have... I am going to take damage here. I will have double plow up just in case they have 2 things. Right. Now they have to clear this again. They can't tap their tomb. I think that's game. I'm trying to think of what they could do here. Fury. Yeah, I mean, that does it. You're still at 2, but I don't have anything going on now. They could play this out, but again, they can't really play it out because that'll kill them. Next turn they could. Come on, creature. I've got lots of you. All right, that'll do. I'm going to go ahead and tap it in. Or yeah, I'll take the damage. Okay, let's let the ability resolve the 1 ring. Sure, we don't want that up in here. It'll cost 6 now. Not that you were going to cast it anyway. Let's pass. All right, Pyroglyph does clear this, but I have an answer for Pyroglyph, but it does give them the life to survive. They said, GG's. All right, we got it. We got it. Positive record. Love this deck. I'm just going to play a couple bonus rounds. I'm having so much fun. Okay, so how do we feel about the changes we made? Like Wrath, obviously very strong. Way better than Trini, in my opinion. Like all the matchups where you're bringing out your Chalice, this is the perfect thing because you don't want to blow up your Chalice anyway. But like if it's like an Urza Saga matchup, then it almost certainly is also an Ancient Tomb matchup. So Wrath, Chalice is not going to matter in those matchups. They're probably playing Chalice themselves. I'm just gonna do another round. This is a thing of beauty. I love this deck. I wish they had better creatures. than Elite Spellbinder, but I mean, we did just end the game with an Elite Spellbinder. So just the fact that he's a creature is not nothing. We could add another Boromir here, but he is legendary, and that could come up, and it would be really annoying if he had like 3 of them. Yeah, I'm just going to run it again with the same thing. I'm a junkie for these Stompy matchups. Like, it's just so fun. Well, I queued into another league because I wanted to have fun. And of course, our opponent is playing Karnforge. So this is fun. I think what we do is we just plains Lotus Petal, and then we stick the Conqueror. We can do that off of a Witch Enchanter. I could just Witch Enchanter tapped. Yeah, I'll do that. There's no reason to take damage. We're not going to do anything with the white mana. Yeah, but this is fine. I mean, this is a Clarion Conqueror hand. I can't throw this back against Karnforge. And I'm not certain that they're Karnforge. The disclaimer, sometimes people are not on what their records suggest, but I always encourage people to look people up because they can look you up. And if you choose not to look up, you're unilaterally disarming yourself against them being able to, make better opening play decisions. Okay, so so let's play this. I'm not going to pay the life. I am going to play out the Petal. I don't think there's any harm in it. I don't want, like, if this is a Chalice deck, I don't want them with Chalice. Okay, and now they know for sure we're on like some sort of white Stompy deck. Okay, and they are not on Karnforge, but they could be on like they could still be on like the decks that go big mana. There's a blue deck that we faced, the deck that I would like to respond was playing. So now there's a danger in jamming because they could have days. So we effectively, like, if they daze Elite Spellbinder, it is a 2-for-1. But if they're on like Doomsday or something, this might be a good play. I don't think Clarion Conqueror is a good play in the blind though. I want to save it. I do think we make a play now. I don't want to wait. If they have Bowmasters, that would be pretty bad. But we will, assuming this resolves, we will get an insight into their hand. If they daze here, it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Okay. And that was a 2-for-1 for them. All right, brainstorm again. Just grinding through the same cards. They didn't have the shuffle. If they have another day, it's really unfortunate. But I don't want to wait. I'm going to go ahead and deploy the Clarion Conqueror. And then we have another one for next turn. They haven't wasted us yet. All right, Conqueror. Do you have a daze? This is basically what our deck does. It just keeps jamming. And yeah, they're forcing that. That's fine. Okay. You're going to wish you had that force when I resolve my Seasoned Dungeoneer next turn. Haha. All right. Blue-black. Thoughtseize. That's unfortunate. They're going to take our Dungeoneer. Hopefully they don't reanimate it. I mean, the fact that they forced Clarion Conqueror, yeah, they did take this Seasoned Dungeoneer. They're down to 4 cards over there. The card that was pitched to force, by the way, was force. So it was force, pitch, force. Okay, I think Chalice on 1 is pretty good, but I am going to go ahead and just... Oh, do I want to do this? I feel like Chalice on 1 is actually better. Because, like, they could have Reanimate or Entomb or something like that. Blue-black does not have good tools for removing these other than Brazen Borrower. Okay, we're in. And this also gives me a chance to draw a land just in case they did draw days. It's unlikely, but it's possible. So if they have Brazen Borrower, they can just bounce this back and then still Entomb and Reanimate. I'm going to presume that they're on Blue-black Reanimator with how they're playing. But this also shuts off Fatal Push, which is usually the removal, if they even play removal. Okay, this is great. So I can play this out. And I am going to put this out, and I don't care if they remove it, then I'll use it. But I don't want to get dazed. And now, if they remove this for some reason, we are closer to hard casting a Solitude on one of their creatures. They're passing without play. So this does completely shut off Tamio, which is nice. Okay, Archon is a really strong card. I'm going to go ahead and attack, and I'm going to hope that our Archon gets in. Okay. And they may forget that this is shut off and just not daze, if they have a daze. All right, that is great. So we were building our army. They could always be on like blue-black show and tell or something like that, but Solitude at least covers that. All right. We don't know what they're on, but we know that Chalice is probably good against it. I think we just keep the deck the same way it is until we have more information. I don't want to speculatively bring in Leyline if they're not Reanimator, if there's some other deck. Nothing's more embarrassing than when you're like not on... Nothing... You feel secondhand embarrassment when you're not on Blue-black Reanimator, which is always for me. I've never played the deck and I never intend to. You always feel like kind of secondhand embarrassment when your opponent like brings in their ley lines and all that stuff when you're actually on blue-black tempo, or like the blue-black dragons deck that I was playing recently. So I don't want to, make my opponents, I don't want to give them the Schadenfreude. I will say that Boromir has insane art. I love this kind of like really ornate, like oil painting style art. A lot of the good white creatures have those. Like, it's just like, it looks like it would be hanging in the Smithsonian. This is no colored mana, no bueno. This is another hand that unfortunately has to be mulled. Our opponent is mulling too. All right, this is fine. It's not great, but I'll just put back a tomb. And we may need the Witching Enchanter if they do have Wasteland. Touch the Spirit Realm is good. But I think it is responsible. Like, I mean, they could also be on like Dreadnought or something like that. Like, this is really good against those types of decks. So I'm gonna just play very conservatively here and keep those. And then we're just gonna open plains. We're gonna try to play around days. I don't think our opponent's deck goes fast. We drew touch anyway. Okay, so we'll play this out. Again, I would play this out, but I don't want to get it wasted. I think what I'm gonna do is I am gonna just play into days with Clarion. I don't think Clarion is that big of a deal. They did force it, but is this Entomb? Okay, thank goodness. By the way, this is like really important if you're new to Legacy. Like, you shouldn't brainstorm at the end of it in step. Like, you should wait and like do a perfect brainstorm. So this tells me, one, my opponent's on like some turbo combo deck that they're just churning through their deck as quickly as possible, or two, that they're relatively new to Legacy. And it either could be true. So I would feel really dumb if they wasted me here. I think I'm going to test with Elite Spellbinder. I think it's less important than Clarion. Because Clarion, like, is a bigger body. It doesn't die to Bowmaster. This does die to Bowmaster. So they may let this resolve thinking, oh, I'll just Bowmaster that. And that is not a bad idea. Okay, they forced pitching Brainstorm. All right. So I'm glad I tested. Next turn, I think a Clarion Conqueror with Daze Protection. Since they're not applying any pressure to our life total. I wouldn't be surprised if Murktide came in soon, but we can't touch it. Yeah, so I'll shock in the Witch Enchanter unless I draw an island, plains. And Market is going to kill us very quickly if they're able to do it. So they drew a card and then they shuffled. Okay, here's the Thoughtseize. This is going to take our Dungeoneer again, I imagine. And it's worth noting that, like, if they decide to reanimate this for some reason, we can just touch it and get it right back and take the initiative and everything. It's like an insane. So it comes back under its owner's control. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and Clarion Conqueror here, and then we'll just hold the touch. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to Clarion Conqueror. I do want to pay the life here. I don't want to get dazed. And I will just play like this so I can keep white up. I don't think it's going to matter. But they won't be able to waste me off of like Plow if they think I have Plow. Okay, so we have finally stuck a threat. Okay, 3 mana. What is this? It's Barrow? I will touch a Barrow. Oh, Doomsday. Okay, so this is fine. This does not shut off any of their abilities, unfortunately. Like, we're almost certainly dead here. Clarion Conqueror stops the Jace ultimate, but it doesn't stop like any of the other stuff. So they can still cycle through their deck and everything. So they are going down to 7. If they get over eager, we can always touch the creature and remove it from play before the trigger. So they have to clear their entire pile. This also shuts off Petal. So they can't necessarily turbo, but they have lots of mana. We've given them tons of time. If we draw Chalice for 2, that could actually be really good. But they'll probably have... Okay, let's take a look at their pile. So for those unfamiliar with the Be Excellent channel, I have an Buffalo Chicken Dip FOP. So overdressed person at Buffalo Chicken Dip. So B is for Brainstorm. I see all 4 Brainstorms. C is for Cyclers and Cavern. So I see both Edge and Cavern here. LED is also notable. However, I don't see... Baraglyph was part of their sideboard strategy, by the way. Vision Charm, very cool card. I don't think it's good here. Oh, wait. You can't phase out the Chalice. I don't know why this is in their deck. Target player mills 4 cards. They could target themselves with this. Okay. D is for Daze. They usually have 3 dazes, and I see 3 dazes. F is for force. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's so hard. You can't sort them. And then O is for Oracle. I don't see the Oracle in here. I also don't see Jace. I assume there's an Oracle in their pile. Then P is for Ponder. So I don't see any Ponders. So what I suspect is they'll probably have something like... So I don't see any cantrips in there. They could have Consider. They didn't get the Cavern. I think they're going to probably just try to kill us with 2 cards left in their pile. So Touch can't be countered if they do that. So I need to not tap out of Touch mana. I don't think they're going to do a slow draw. If we do draw a land, though, I can deploy a second Conqueror. Boromir stops 0 drops. Is that relevant? I didn't count petals. Let's count the petals. But they shouldn't have grabbed petal anyway. Petal doesn't work. So, yeah, I don't think they have petal. And I see why they don't have LED in there either, because that doesn't work. Okay, so there's a choice to be made here. 1, we apply additional pressure. We remove a turn from their clock. Or 2, we hold up interaction in case they have a quick pile. I think we hold up interaction. So now they have to cycle all the way. No, they get it back. They win. Because when it re-enters, it'll trigger again and they'll win. Yeah, so I am going to go ahead and play out a second Conqueror. I think this is better than playing out a second Boromir, just in case they were going to try to kill this as part of their win con. Okay, now they're dead on board and they have to win in 1 turn. But they should be able to do that. Oh, they just scooped. Okay. Maybe they had like some sort of bounce spell or something, and that was their plan, was to use that, and then, yeah, I don't know. All right. Next game. We're up against Second Siege Rhino. Second Siege Rhino likes to play this fancy stuff with Kaito and Uro and like all these intricate cards. Talmio, which we love to shut off. Of course, Baleful Strix and stuff like that. Lots of Witherbloom commands. This is like a deck builder after my own heart. I love playing this stuff, but it's 4 color. Luckily for them, we don't have a way to punish the fact that their deck is 4 color. I would be very interested in seeing their mana base and how they make that work. This is a turn 2 Chalice, which shuts off Tamio, Brainstorm, Ponder, Prismatic Ending, Plow, Thoughtseize. It shuts off a lot of the deck, but they do have Prismatic Ending. I don't think this is where we want to be. I think we want to be faster. I want to really have like a turn 1 Archon because they have a greedy mana base. This is a turn 1 Chalice, which is better. My opponent said, be excellent to each other and party on. And they cut off the dudes. I used to say dudes, but I realized it was exclusionary. It's different times. There are women watching too. Okay. My audience is like probably like 95% men, but there are some women. Okay. So, yeah, I think we just open Chalice, and then next turn we Peacekeeper or Conqueror. I think Peacekeeper's safer. Yeah, I'm going to snap keep this. Card that goes back. I mean, they have lots of stuff in their deck that could screw with us in terms of Dungeoneer. We don't have a 3rd mana. They do play Wasteland. We could find ourselves in a situation where we feel really dumb for putting away Witch Enchanter. I'm going to put away Seasoned Dungeoneer. Yeah. My kids just got home and they're like, he's recording. We were going to go swimming. Just one more game or one more match. It'll be about like maybe 15, 20. Okay. Yeah. I said sure. Let them play. Yes. All right. I got Mario Party Jamboree for my kids. They're very hyped to play it. And now they have an opportunity. So we're just going to Chalice and we're going to force check them because I'm almost certain this will get forced. Unless they have Prismatic Ending and they're willing to wait 2 turns. This is one thing where like this match. Oh yeah, they are definitely forcing this with prejudice. They pitch the Ponder. Okay. So Clarion Conqueror doesn't actually shut off very much of their deck. It shuts off Kaito and it shuts off Tamio. And it doesn't actually shut off Kaito from coming in because you can't. I don't think you can actually stop the abilities of cards that are in hand. They're just cards. They're not creatures or anything like that. Okay. So now this makes me want to jam Conqueror. However, if they put effort into flipping her, then Conqueror is way better. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go for Peacekeeper here. Oh, that's nice in case we need to play around days, which They could be playing. They're not. I realize a lot of people are like, you're so cheating. You're cheating looking at that stuff. Again, unilateral disarmament. I'll just keep saying it. Okay, so Petal comes in, and I think we Peacekeeper first, now that we don't have to worry about days. Oh, they forced that too. Well, I'm glad that I held on to my Conqueror. So they forced Brainstorm. They're really in on Tommy, which is going to be heartbreaking for them in a minute. Hopefully they don't just have a plow for it. I mean, they're like a control gamer, so they have answers for everything. That's the whole point. Okay, so they have a clue. Would you like to cast something that also gets locked down? Okay, we could anoint a Peacekeeper again, since they didn't like that previously. I'm fine with them flipping Tommy. Again, we've got a long-term answer. Okay, they're fetching. They're going to clue, crack, and then go ahead and force the third time. Just put your whole hand into stopping me, by all means. Okay, so the only card we care about in this hand is... we care about Cut. They're going to Thoughtseize us this turn and take our Clarion Conqueror. Unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about that. If we name Thoughtseize, technically they don't have the mana to Thoughtseize, but they will have Cut and they will use it on us eventually. Making it more expensive doesn't necessarily stop it. I think I'm going to name Thoughtseize, and I'm going to hope that they spend their black mana on Cut so that I can resolve. Yeah. I'm going to name Thoughtseize, and then they're going to be able to Thoughtseize me after Clarion Conqueror is out, and I don't care. I'll be Helm by then. And they have to find a black source in order to be able to do both of the things they want. So again, I'm hoping that they just cut here because they have like a perfect line to cut. I'm very much not on, like, used to being on this side of the matchup. I'm used to doing the fancy things that my opponent's doing. Okay, they don't have Kaito. They didn't find a land. Don't find a black source. They do have 23 lands in their deck, which is a ton. Okay, they did not do it. Okay. So unfortunately, they didn't cut here. I'm going to attack and see if I can get the cut out of their hand. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attack and see if that gets the cut. I want the cut so bad. Please cut. Please don't take the 3 damage. Oh no, they took... So I can blow this up, but then they have 3 mana for Thoughtseize next turn. It's not great. I do think we get the Witch Enchanter on the table, though. The problem with Conquer is... Yeah, I mean, they could whiff one more turn on land. I am fine with just going lots of life here. Keeping this Petal around in case I need it. This will spur them to use the clue. Yep. But I need to do something other than expose Clarion Conqueror, because if I expose Clarion Conqueror, then suddenly I'm in real trouble. I think they're going to win this game. I think like the having the combination of Murderous Cut and Thoughtseize, like and now they've got the second black source, so they can Thoughtseize. Please cut. No, it doesn't matter because they can cut and then they can Thoughtseize. And like just to be clear, there's nothing I could have really done. I could have sequenced differently, but they had to find the black source. Okay, so now they're just going to run away with the game with Tomio probably. Announce Bomb doesn't matter. It's just a card to draw through. They can attack if they'd like. Create a clue. Yeah, I need to draw another Clarion Conqueror stat if I want to have any chance of staying in this game. I mean, a Solitude would do it too. Touch the Spirit Realm actually is not bad. So I can touch that, and then their hand is 2 unknown cards, but we got the Tomio off the table. They could Prismatic end it. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. It sucks. I mean, it's not what I want to be doing, but we can't let Tomio stick around. She's too devastating. And they can definitely flip her next turn and just make a laughingstock of our Witch Enchanter. So they're 9. They can draw through this. Okay. I mean, we have good top decks, though. I just want to emphasize. We have good top decks. Swamp, okay. Beanstalk, that's not good for us. So it looks like they're just on straight bug beans and not doing the white thing, which makes finding black a little easier for them. So we can come in for 2, but they still have lots of life. Oh, no. Oh, I think we hold it. I don't think there's any tactical benefit. Like maybe they Thoughtseize or something, or they're worried about what does this represent? But yeah, ultimately it represents nothing. If they find a Murktide, we're dead. Ponder. So let's take a look at our sideboard and see what we were going to do here. This is actually, like if they're on Murktide, yeah, I mean, Chalice is very good, so we're not going to be bringing in Wrath of the Skies. Yeah, I think Wrath comes in. Trinisphere could come in for sure. I think Trinisphere is very good against decks that try to play more than one spell a turn, which is every deck other than our deck. Well, there's not a lot of tactical benefit to holding this. I'm going to play this out. We're going to try to come in. They're probably going to Bowmaster us, and then that'll be the game. This is the fetch to 6. Mystic Sanctuary, putting Murderous Cutback on top. Oh, putting Ponder on top. Yeah. Okay. Just going to take the 2? No, of course not. Yeah, they just have Bowmaster through slightly more elaborate means. Okay, I think we can scoop. I don't think we're going to find anything here. Oh, wait. Murderous Cut. Wait, they had another Murderous Cut. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to give up yet. Because we could still introduce the initiative, for example. To 5 cards in the grip. Like, I think it's extremely unlikely that our initiative creature resolves. But, yeah, and Solitude could... Well, if we give them a ton of life, I think they'd be fine if we Solituded their mark. Like, if we take the initiative, they only have marks to kill us. And probably some... Yeah, I think this is over. I'm not going to give them more turns. Okay. So, yeah, that was disappointing that they had, like, the critical mass of interaction. Leyline could come in. I actually think Leyline is secretly really good against their deck. I'm going to bring it in. I think Trinisphere comes in. Cards that are bad against them. Witch Enchanter can blow up. Yeah, Witch Enchanter's not terrible. Clarion is only good for Tamiyo. I feel like we could take out Solid, but like this is kind of important for survival. We can take the petals out since we're going to be... It's okay for us to move a little slower. Yeah, if we get a Leyline out, like it seriously jams up their ability to cast Murktide, which is to say, like, jams up their ability to win. A lot of, like, this is secretly the weakness of Bugbeans. But I don't want to aggressively mull to it. It'll be embarrassing if I draw it mid-game. Archon's great here. They're not going to be reanimating our Seasoned Engineer. We can definitely keep it in. We are going lower on mana sources here. I think we could cut 1 Solitude. Just because Merc will probably never even get out if we're lucky and we find a Leyline in our first hand or 2. And what we can do is... I mean, that's a freaking hand. That's great. Yeah, I'll keep this. And Bugbeans players never expect Leyline. Like, I played a ton of Bugbeans. Nobody ever boarded it in against me, but I was secretly terrified that somebody would. I played against, like, Mono Black Helm, and I was like, oh, damn, I'm screwed. Okay, so we'll just open with his planes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test with Spellbinder, since we saw 2 Dazes last game, I think. Well, we may have only seen 1. Tommy's out. Spellbinder does trade with Tommy. Another Spellbinder. I'm going to Spellbinder. Okay, we're in. So Witherbloom is a very clear winner here in terms of stuff we want to jam up. Brainstorm can flip. Witherbloom, because it kills this and allows her a clean attack, she gets a clean attack anyway. And they get Brainstorm. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're just not going to be able to stop her from flipping. But we can make this Witherbloom nigh uncastable. I think they could flip and they could also waste us, which would really suck. We can pressure her though. I'm gonna take the Witherbloom because I don't want them to recur the Wasteland. That would be bad. So I think the responsible thing from their side of the table is to waste me. I'm going to be blocking her and they're going to be flipping. But it's possible that they get greedy and... Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I didn't need to take Witherbloom because they're not going to be able to waste me more than once. But, I mean, they can still kill my Elite Spellbinder with it. I don't think making one of those brainstorms cost 2 more was the line. I'll be very disappointed if I get wasted out of this game because I am playing a pretty responsible, mana base. There's the Wasteland. Okay, yeah, so we're going to lose, unfortunately. We can pressure this Tamiyo for a few turns. They have another Brainstorm. They have a clue they can crack here. Yeah, we can't do anything. So I'll just attack Tamiyo, which this is going to die as soon as they find a Bowmaster, and they will have the mana for that. So yeah, I think we had a good hand, but we're just getting taken apart, unfortunately. Yeah, they're immediately fetching, and they're going to immediately Bowmaster. We could draw a Ancient Tomb. I'm not going to concede. Okay, that's not a Bowmaster, at least. Okay, They're very aggressive with all their cantrips and stuff. They've already played their land for turn. So their hand is... They have a Brainstorm in exile, and then they have 3 cards in hand. So we need to find Ancient Tomb now. Or City of Traitors. That's not what we needed. I think we just lost, unfortunately. Even if we find it at this point... I mean, Clarion Conqueror could stop it, but they're going to be able to like crack a clue and... Yeah, we have to find it right now. Beanstalk, yeah, it's going from bad to worse. Solitude doesn't do anything. Yeah, we're done. There, one more turn. Yeah, we could potentially Clarion Conqueror. I'm not going to concede yet. But Clarion Conqueror has to resolve through days and everything like that. And then this is just on the board until they find an answer. That goes up. Brainstorm. They've seen so many cards. The notion that they haven't seen a force that also cantrips is extremely unlikely. If we draw, I'll try for it. All right, so I think I'm going to leave it there. These were some really fun matches, but I do need to take my kids swimming. And this is a nice clean break from the deck. So our final record was 4 wins, 3 wins, and 1 win out of 2. So we played 12 games, and we won 8 of them. So we only lost 4 of them. That's still a pretty good record. Like feedback on the list, like I could definitely understand people putting Mox in here, but like Mox is so antithetical to Clarion. Like I understand, like I do think Petal's an improvement because it gives you a burst of mana. And a lot of times like these cards are so good that you resolve it and like the game's kind of over. Like Clarion Conqueror, if they don't have removal, it's so devastating to a lot of decks. Seasoned Dungeoneer, obviously, like if you get that amount of mana, she just runs away with the game, even if she's removed. And there's plenty of creatures here that have like vigilance that can potentially get the initiative back while defending it. We have our Solitudes, of course, to defend the initiative. Chalice was pretty strong. Like we had a few people scoop straight up to it. I think that this is like the real reason to be playing this deck, in my humble opinion, is Clarion Conqueror and Chalice of the Void. But I think even though it didn't really show up that much, I think Archon of Emeria is an extremely solid hate bear as well. And then the fact that you can just have your mana base also be an answer to like a lot of problematic permanents in Wish Enchanter. So I think this 22 land build with the petals, that's like 26 mana sources. That's a lot, but it's not as many as a lot of other people are doing. And importantly, tons of basics. I like it a lot. Like, I think there was a situation where our opponent was able to like opposition age on us and we just didn't even care. Like, sure, you can have my basic planes. Yeah. Now, one deck that I was considering doing was a Splash Black version of this that just used Scrublands and had access to Thoughtseize and Kozilek's Command. And so I'm going to show you what that list would look like real quick. All right, so this is a less explosive deck for sure, and it also is a little bit more weak to like Moon Stompy type decks. We do have, of course, Magus of the Moon covered, but we don't necessarily have Blood Moon covered. But if you look at it, like Inquisition's pretty good right now. In my opinion, it hits Doomsday, it hits Show and Tell, it hits a lot of the scary things the decks do. And there aren't actually that many 4-drops aside from One Ring. What you can do is then you just take it a little bit slower. Instead of playing the Lotus Petals, you just probably turn 1, either Shadowy Backstreet or discard something, or you could Plow. And then you can play your City of Traitors or your Ancient Tomb, and you can start jamming your 3-drops. And this doesn't have any 2-drops in the entire deck, but it does have Bowmaster in the sideboard. I think Bowmaster is so good against like One Ring and a lot like against weenie decks like Death and Taxes and stuff. It's probably worth playing, even though it doesn't fully take advantage of the mana burst that you get from these Ancient Tombs and City of Traitors. I mean, you could use those to play this around Days, for example. But so it's not a total wash. And also note that like because we have like 4 Scrublands and Shadow Backstreet, we can potentially recast the Leyline if somebody bounces it. And I think this card is very good right now, and it's very important to survival against like Dredge and Oops All Spells and like really aggressive graveyard strategies. And I think when you're playing these lands, you can potentially main deck it, or you can not main deck it, but you can bring it in against, Blue-Black Reanimator, which is not a complete dedication to the graveyard. I don't know that this is an optimal sideboard configuration. I don't know that the mana is optimal, but 21 lands plus 5 Witch Enchanter seems like a lot to me. and it seems like it'll be able to reliably ramp out these cards even through Wastelands and stuff. But yeah, it could be that you could go down a land. It's not clear what threat you would put in here. You could put a 4th Boromir. Again, there is the issue of him being legendary, and having a handful of Boromirs is not particularly good. I guess you could just wait till they kill one of them and then deploy the second one. But the real problem is, this card, Elite Spellbinder, is just not good enough, in my humble opinion. It's like a class below all these other creatures, Archon and Clarion, and certainly Anointed Peacekeeper. This is like just very impressive, in my opinion. And you don't really lose that because you're adding, you're taking out the Chalice and you're taking out the Lotus Petals. You don't actually lose any white count. You could actually increase your white count by going up a Boromir here. So yeah, like I guess my initial reaction is let's just go up a Boromir. I can't really think of any other white creatures that are at the 3 drops. And I did look at them all. Like I spent about 20 minutes just like doing some Scryfall searches and like looking through all the 2 drops. Okay, is there anything I'm missing at? Or all the 3 drops. Specifically, I'm talking 2 colorless and 1 white. And I do think you don't want to be dependent on having double white. Like you can always cast Solitude with double white if you need to, but a strength of this deck is the fact that it can function off of like a tomb or even 2 tombs in a plains. You can still cast your Seasoned Dungeoneer off that and stuff. Like once you start depending on having a second colored source, then Blood Moon becomes a much bigger threat. But if you can get this out before the Blood Moon comes down, like through your fetches, then I think you're good. And by the way, you'll note that I don't have a swamp in here, so technically this could be some other fetch land. There we go. I've diversified away from Marsh Flats a little bit. And then you could also get like the other fetch in if you're really compulsive like I am. I probably will before I actually play it. But I think 2 planes is really the minimum because you want to make sure you have like some outs to actually draw it. And then you could go down an Inquisition because you have this, like, heaven forbid you don't have a turn 1 discard. At least you can Surveil. So that could be another change that you could make. Yeah, I think I would just cut. I'd like to cut a land, but I'm not sure what land to cut. It could be a city. Certainly, if you're on a budget, these are like $400 or $500 each. I mean, we could just cut like with the planes and just plan on playing on 1 because we only need 1. And then, like, heaven forbid they have like Ghost Quarter or something, we're screwed. But it's not really going to matter if you get your initiative creature out before Ghost Quarter, so it's going off, or you're like against lands and stuff. I think so. This way, we have 1 basic that we're fetching, and then we have lots of non-basics, and we just assume that like against Blood Moon, we're going to go fetch this basic, and we have like basically 7 paths to a basic planes, which is not great against Blood Moon. But a lot of people might see the deck and they may just not bother bringing in Blood Moon. They may take it out if you just fetch planes aggressively. And ideally you're going to get to look at their hand and take their Blood Moon before they get a chance if you're on the play. If you're on the draw, again, you do have Solitude to answer. But that is, to answer Magus, but that is, again, a weakness of going 2 color when you're already playing Tomb and City of Traitors. There's only so much stability you can have in going 2 color. But the advantage you get is instead of playing your 3 mana guy that dies to Bowmaster, and hoping that does something. Instead, you can actually just like Inquisition or Thoughtseize turn 1, and then you have the information you need to proceed. So I might play a league with this. But I like the idea of doing it for sure. So that is where I'll leave it. This has been a very long video, but it was very fun. I love these kinds of Stompy decks. I love that that we had a positive record, even in a combo-filled meta. And until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.